Episode of Off Track with Hinch and Rossi. I'm Tim.
Wait. Why are you that's not... If you're
I'm Tim.
Tim, then how...
Then who's flying the plane?
Wait, no. We could be Off Track with Hinch and Rossi, but like the preferred way where it's actually just Tim and Hinch.
It's just Tim and Hinch. So I'll be Tim, you can be Hinch.
It can be Tim and Hinch.
Oh.
Let me... Hi, everyone. My name is Andrea. Welcome back to another episode of not Off Track with Hinch and Rossi, but actually the Lap Sound Podcast. This is MJ over here. She's
Hello.
She's a little nervous, guys. She doesn't want to speak today. No, just kidding. Sorry we're late. This time we actually don't have an excuse because all the races were at reasonable times.
No, it was my fault. It was my fault. I accidentally was poisoned by food. Shoot.
I hate it when my food is poisoned.
Rats.
But we are here today. Honestly, what if we just became a Tuesday podcast? No.
You know
we
what?
Can't do that.
I think people would be upset, but like statistically speaking, guys, and I know you'll let us know.
I know
a very
you guys
vocal
will.
audience.
And we love
Here's
that.
my thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fun to film like right after the races because we're like the first ones out
to
there.
get it out there.
Yeah, and it's like you guys get to listen to it on Monday morning, so you have something, to look forward to. But also, the things that I would say about these races yesterday are not the same things I'm going to say today. So I feel like we seem stupider when we record on Sunday than when we record on Monday.
I feel like, so like yesterday, immediately after the IndyCar race, I literally was like, I have no clue what the fuck just happened. I have no clue what happened. It was like such a chaotic race that I didn't even digest any of it. And to think that we were about to just like hop on and record, I don't even know what I would have said. But today I feel a little bit more confident in my thoughts on IndyCar. And maybe that's for the better. I don't know. Let us know what you guys think. Like, would you listen to a Tuesday podcast? I don't know. I don't know what we want to do. I don't know. I mean, she got like food poisoned, but like also sometimes it's really hard when the race is really late at night.
It's just
for us to film on a Sunday.
And I have such an important job that it's like I can't be tired while filming TikToks. It's just like it's hard.
Like it's really hard, guys. Other admin-y things. If you ordered a Lapstown hat, I believe they're actually they arrived today from the people that made them, and then I'm going to ship them out to you guys as soon as possible. So keep an eye on that. I appreciate your guys' patience. They literally were like a custom order. So like, I don't know. Is that cool? So that's why they took a little while, because they literally had to be like made. Turns out you can't go on like Alibaba and just order Lapstown hats.
No.
Like
you'd think they would have them pre-made by now.
I know. I thought that we were like the number one motorsports podcast in the world, but I guess not. Hosted by people named MJ and Andrea, of course.
Yeah, we have that award.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Dana. And lastly, be sure to leave us a 5-star review.
If you guys wear the hats, will you guys please tag us? I want to see. I want to see you wearing the hat. Please tag any of our accounts.
Exactly. Also, be sure to leave a 5-star review. Some of you guys were very kind to do that. We got a great review on Apple Podcasts that me and MJ teared up a little bit at. I'm not going to lie. And then we also got a couple that came in on Spotify, and we really appreciate that. It helps us find a new audience. More people are more likely to listen to the pod if they see that other people like it. And thank you so much also to our YouTube community. I have to say, like, we love reading the YouTube comments. We are, like, clocked in. We learned so much. We always ask these hypothetical questions in that episode, and we always get great answers from you guys that, like, you honestly take time out of your day to type out these answers to us, which is so kind because, like, it helps us, be better motorsports fans and maybe not spread misinformation on our podcast. And it also is just fun. So thank you to our YouTube community. Anything else you want to add, MJ, as far as admin goes?
I don't think so. Can you hear that?
I can't hear anything. I haven't heard anything since.
It's just like torrential downpour outside, and I just didn't know if it was being picked up at all.
It's currently, I think, like 104 degrees or something crazy outside. Yeah, it feels like 104 degrees outside right now. So I wish I was having torrential downpour.
Well, I think ours today it just dropped down below 90. We're supposed to have thunderstorms all week. Yes.
Ding. That's so exciting. Welcome, guys, to the weather podcast. No, but yeah.
What is the weather like where you are?
Yeah, drop the temperature of where you live. I know, we got to stop with the fucking call outs. We got to save them for the perfect time, not the weather. So we obviously didn't have a Formula One race this week, but there was a little bit of something. You added something to the doc, our first item under Formula One.
Yeah, Valtteri Bottas is driving for Cadillac, according to me. Because if he's gonna tease it, I'm gonna go with it. I think he posted, and I didn't even see it originally. Someone had to like describe it on TikTok, but
I love
it was him. And this is, once again, secondhand account. Could have looked it up, but didn't. Mm-hmm. Apparently it was him, like, with a Cadillac, and he was making some joke, like, oh, do you like these seats? Be like, they're open, but, like, not for long. And I was like, yeah, so congratulations, you got the job.
Congratulations. I think it's either, like, if he's teasing that he got the seat, I'm delighted to hear that news because he's actually the ex-driver that I would most want to get that Cadillac seat. I think he still has like a lot to give in his career that I feel like he didn't get to give while he was at Stake Sauber. He got like kind of like shafted with the way his career will be remembered. Like he was so good at Mercedes, but like when your teammate is Lewis Hamilton, it's like, who cares? You know what I mean? And then to go from that to Stake Sauber and like being like basically the only car on the grid getting lapped. I was just like, this is so stupid that this is how he's ending his career. So I would be excited if he's teasing that he got this spot. Now, what if the alternative is that he doesn't have the seat and he's like trying to get them to pay attention to him? Do you think that that's like a little desperate?
I think it's equally as funny.
Okay.
I think that is very funny. I feel like that's something you and I would do, where we would be like, wouldn't we look so cool at the Roval? This is the outfit I would wear to the Roval if I was ever invited to the Roval. He's just doing it on a bigger scale.
Right. With way more eyes on him.
Yeah.
I also, though, like, what do you think about the fact that he said he wanted to come to IndyCar if he didn't get the Cadillac seat? Did you want him to come to IndyCar?
I mean, he can come to IndyCar if he wants, but where's he gonna go? Prema? They're gonna make him speak Italian?
I don't know where he would go. I guess it's a great question. I think he just is like, I'm Valtteri Bottas. Like, they would love me there. And I do think he would do great for, like, the IndyCar fandom. He has, like, he would fit great energy.
He would fit in really well. The same thing with Kevin Magnussen, where it's like, you kind of have the vibe where you would be okay with, like, being around these massive amounts of people who want to interact with you, and, like, you're not going to do anything weird. You're not going to be, like, overly rude or anything. Just, like, chill. As far as how he would do on the actual racing, I don't know if I'm as convinced as I was with Kevin. But
yeah, Kevin has the spunk. I don't know if Valtteri Bottas has the spunk to like I haven't seen enough crimes committed by Valtteri Bottas to be like confident that he could handle the shenanigans that go down in IndyCar. Personally,
it would probably be tough going from like a team who's always racing in the front to a team who's always racing in the back to go to IndyCar where it's like, you could be anywhere at any time.
There's no front and back. We have Graham Rahal in third. It's anybody's game here. I do agree. Like, it is interesting. Like, there is no really like good or bad teams. There's better teams, and then bad teams that randomly might accidentally qualify on pole, and then you just have to deal with whatever that is. I love that. Also, in other F1 news, we had James Vowles re-signed to Williams.
He resigned.
As the team principal. He resigned. Yeah, he stepped back. He said
he's no longer going to be here.
Is that what I wrote? I fucking hate myself.
You wrote resigned. Yeah, that's okay.
Honestly, that's fine. Yeah, he thought about it some more, and he was like, you know what? Like, what am I doing here?
How many years? I have to be here for how many years?
Yeah. He was like, out. I actually thought we were gonna like have it turned around by now, and it's not very fun anymore. So I think I'm gonna leave. In all reality, though, I do think it is interesting because he kept pushing back, like, when he was going to deliver Williams back at the front of the grid to, like, these new regulations. So it's like, this is kind of his last free pass. And then I'm like, well, what is the expectations then? Because it's like, I'm not expecting them to be winning races next year. But, like, James Vowles makes it sound like he is. So that's probably a problem. Because if that's what he's promising for next year, and then if that doesn't happen, it's like, enjoy your last contract extension, buddy. Make it last. Be sure you're saving for early retirement. I don't know. I'm scared for him, I'm going to be honest, because I do think he's a smart guy, but why'd you do that?
It's crazy to set a goal like that, especially because he set that goal, like, last year, and we saw how the cars were last year. But I feel like as long as he keeps improving on the last year, he'll be fine. That being said, I think that their expectations, or that they're kind of doing better than their expectations that they set for this year, that's what worries me. Is, see, now we're shooting for the moon, we're landing among the stars, and it's like, you don't have that much wiggle room to go up next year. Like, next year you actually do have to win. Because it's like, you can't keep getting points, double points every weekend, and then go and have a similar year. You kind of gotta... World champions, probably, I think.
And I do think that, like, the rumor is that Mercedes customer teams are going to be in a good spot with these new regulations. And so you're thinking, like, oh, that sounds good for Williams. But it's like, Williams is also, like, one of, like, 3 or 4 customer teams for Mercedes. So that's, like, a lot of other cars you have to be, even if, like, so to speak, like, the Mercedes are, like, running away with it, you still have to beat, like, both McLarens, both Mercedes. And
at least one McLaren.
Right. Isn't there another Mercedes customer team? I don't even know.
Yeah, Williams.
And then there's another one, I think. Fuck, I swear I know about it, guys.
Is it Steak? I'm just gonna start naming them off. You let me know when I hit the one.
No, I think Steak is
It's not Haas. It's not Red Bull.
No. And I know that Cadillac, I think Cadillac's going to be a Ferrari customer team before they start making their own power units. I don't know. You guys know what the answer is, so, like, just give it to me in the comments. Just give it to me.
They're just, like, shouting it out at home. This has turned into a Dora episode where we go, what's that other team?
Do you guys know the other customer team? I can't hear you. I literally want to die. But anyways, yeah, it's like, those are a lot of other cars that you'd have to beat. So, like, you would have to, like, deliver on a lot of promises, I guess, to even get a podium. I don't know.
Oh, but how fun would it be to see, like, wheel-to-wheel battles with, like, the McLarens and the Williams? It's like Lando versus Alex and Carlos versus Oscar. It'd be beautiful. It'd be beautiful.
I'm scared to give Alex Albon, like, a race-winning car. Like, part of me thinks, like, it's like he's been repressed too long. Like, I don't know what he would turn into.
He's slowly getting more airtime, but this he's been unhinged at Williams for years. Yeah. Constantly talking back, being like, no, wait, give me a second. Can I try something? Like, but I'm not worried about him at all.
He was doing, like, unhinged shit. He was doing unhinged shit against, like, Valtteri Bottas. And it's like, that's none of our business, whatever the fuck's happening back there. Now it's like, he's, like, doing unhinged shit to, like, a Ferrari or something. And it's like,
the Mercedes.
Whoa. Yeah, it's like, we gotta chill, buddy. But yeah, you give him, like, a true race winning car next year. Like, you put him up the front and he sees Lando in front of him. I can't promise what would happen. I can't. I don't know.
I think only one would finish the race, I fear.
I agree. He would be just putting holes in, like, everybody's side pods. Just, like, no car would come out of that unscathed. That's fine, though. That's fine.
Yeah.
Let him have it. Yeah. Just one run.
I co-sign that.
Yeah. He deserves one, like, real season of a World Drivers' Championship battle. Okay, last little thing that was actually kind of a news story last week, but, like, I'm just putting it on this week because I didn't have enough time to digest it last week. Apparently, some of the, like, most reputable and, like, influential Italian media sources we're talking about how Fred Vasseur is under-delivering at Ferrari, how, like, the two drivers are super angry, and how, like, the whole organization is a fucking shit show, and, like, kind of coming for, like, everybody's job. Like, they were, like, naming, like, Fred and then, like, a bunch of, like, engineers and stuff at Ferrari and being like, these people all need to, like, kind of go. Like, their jobs are, like, under threat. I think it's interesting because it's, like, I actually love Fred Vasseur. I think he's like a really, really good team principal. And I feel like he does have like a vision for Ferrari. It's just he doesn't have the grace that James Vowles has been given. I think it's like an interesting comparison between the two. You have one team who's like maybe a bit on a decline. Like I think we can all acknowledge Ferrari is. But it's like they've never actually lived up to any potential anybody ever had of them. Like any expectations anybody ever had of them. So can you blame Fred for that?
No.
So you think he should keep his job?
I just don't know. Well, because it's kind of like the NHL where you fire your head coach because you're like, this head coach is a problem. And they're like, you know who we should actually put in the problem head coach's place? This other head coach who recently got fired because that head coach was also a problem. So it's like, what are we going to do? We're going to pull him out and we're going to be like, stick someone...
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It's just a rotating chair.
But I'm also at the point where sometimes the teams do need a shakeup. You know, like they just need to feel like something has changed. Mm-hmm. So maybe it would be beneficial. But at the end of the day, are we going to get rid of like the strategists? Are we going to get rid of like anybody who we see on the front lines who are having issues? We're just going to stop at Fred or...
I think it's everybody. But it's weird because they have like tried to fix a lot of stuff. Like they used to have like a bunch of people complaining about Charles's race engineer. And so like last year they like fired his race engineer. Yeah. He wasn't giving him words of affirmation.
Right. No, I remember this. I remember.
Yeah, he honestly can we see like a girl so confusing edit between Charles and his ex race engineer? Because that was the vibe. Like I literally was like, do you guys hate each other? What's going on here? I don't know. I think it's also interesting. There was like a weird angle too where they were like, Fred Vasseur actually doesn't even speak like enough Italian, and because literally every single person that works at Ferrari, except for like the drivers and Fred, are Italian, it's like a problem. And I was like, whoa, this got really weird really fast. Like I was like, you guys just don't fuck with him because he's not Italian, huh?
Yeah, that's kind of what it's sounding like. I mean, okay. All right.
Keep your eyes on this space, guys. I don't know. Something's cooking up over here because, like, it was so bad that Fred had to, like, make a statement at, like, the press conference in Canada, basically being like, stop saying I'm going to be fired and that all my drivers hate me because, like, that's just not true. And, like, the media in Italy can go, like, fuck off. But then people were like, no, this is, like, really, really reputable media in Italy. I don't know. Watch this space, guys. I don't know.
Everyone check Indeed. See if Ferrari is hired.
Anyways, we have a little extra segment today. Formula E.
Yes! This was actually announced a hot minute ago. We just never talked about it. But I feel like as your resident Formula E... I don't know if we are. That's very presumptuous.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, we are a Formula E podcast.
We love Formula E. Abby Poling was announced as a Formula E reserve driver for Nissan, which is the team that you decided to adopt early in the season, so I thought specifically you would be really excited.
They're good
essentially
at Formula E, guys. It's a really good
Not this
team.
last weekend. This last weekend they did not do
generally.
too good. Yeah.
Generally.
No, yeah, for sure. Oliver Rowland, he won like, what, 2 in a row? He almost Christopher Belled?
I think 3. I think there was
He
3
Christopher Belled?
I think so. I think we didn't talk about a 3-peat that was happening in that space.
Shoot. Guys, watch that space, in case we're not watching that space.
Can you guys check on that space for us?
Can you? But she's going to be doing the upcoming rookie test. Also, so is Ella Lloyd. If you guys are big Formula One Academy fans, she's going to be doing that. This is particularly exciting for me because I think we did it on this podcast and it wasn't just on live. Yeah. We talked about how it's so frustrating that we keep having these all-women Formula E tests. The women come out and perform better than half of the all-male grid, and then diddly squat comes from it.
Yeah. These are real tests,
So
not like a test for girls. They're not like, the little girls can have a little test.
It's not a publicity stunt. And now she's
Yeah.
on the team, which is exciting. I also think I saw Bianca Bustamante in one of the garages. She apparently is also a reserve driver, which I didn't know. I feel like I hadn't seen anything about that until she was just like filming content with them. But so that's exciting.
Yeah, I think that Formula E has always gotten a lot of, I think we literally titled the episode, if you guys want to go back and listen to it, like Formula E are fake feminists or something. It was something really powerful there. It was
our early days.
Yeah, we were really worked up about this, and we just would put crazy shit in our title. And I think that it's interesting because Formula E is like, yeah, like these girls were like kind of whooping some of their butts in these tests.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like kind of just like, what is the point? And I think Abby Pulling has done these like women's tests several times and has whooped people's butts in it. So it's like, okay, I think we should get her out there. I really do hope that this turns out really good for Abby and maybe she gets even the opportunity to drive in a race or something. Not that I'm wishing poor on either of Nissan's drivers, but it would be, I think, a great way for her to show herself like comparatively on a bigger stage against men. And I was watching the F1 Academy show on Netflix probably 2 weeks ago now, and I feel like the show did a really good job of like making me a lifelong Abby Pulling fan. It really just like showed her like energy as a competitor really well. And she doesn't really have everything handed to her. She really has had to hustle for sponsors and rides. And F1 Academy was supposed to be her like ticket to the next level. And I'm hopeful that we can see that work out for one of these F1 Academy girls. I would like to see a winner of F1 Academy get like an official seat somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's really good marketing for Formula E because you got all these F1 Academy diehards that it's like, hey divas, guess what?
hey girly pops, do you guys like women?
Do you like women in race cars? Well, do I have news for you. Trigger warning, electric vehicle.
Yeah, I think that people that are cool with women are cool with electric vehicles, though.
I think so too. I think there is a direct correlation between sexism and like
being
electric
scared of electric vehicles. Just being scared of them generally. They don't really know what it is about them that's scary. It's just the fact that you don't have to drill for oil that just is off-putting to them.
Dude, some people fucking love gasoline. Like, I cannot express to you, like, these men are guzzling it. Like, I swear to God.
Do you think if they, like, put... Okay, so Formula E cars, I've criticized them for sounding kind of weird. Okay, I'm one of those people, and I'm sorry. They do sound a little weird. What if they made them, like, sound differently artificially? Like, they just literally, like, blared out of speakers, like, a better sound? And then what if they, like, made them smell like gasoline artificially? Like, made the cars smell like gasoline and, like, just, like, blast a different sound that was loud enough to cover up the... like that weird ass like sound that they currently make. I think that Formula E would be fine with people.
I think they would too.
It's just a little thunder.
You guys hear a little thunderstorm.
If you guys hear a little thunder, it's actually ambiance. Don't fall asleep.
It is kind of nice.
Rain noise makes me fall asleep.
No, we'll keep them awake. I feel like we'll get heated about something soon. Yeah. I think that's a fabulous idea. Like, in Disneyland or like at amusement parks, they like pump the smell of like popcorn and stuff. They could just be like you're inside of a stadium and they're just pumping the smell of gasoline, just straight in gasoline.
People are passing out and we're unsure why.
People are scared. They're afraid this is a hazard. The reason you guys can operate in here is because there's no gasoline.
Yeah, that is something that is weird to me about Formula E is that the season wrap up is in London and half of the race is indoors, and I'm like, that's actually not allowed.
Crazy.
I don't know why, and I can't explain it, but you can't do that.
I don't like that. I don't like it when I know some dirt tracks are indoors. And it's like I don't fuck with it. Lovingly,
no. You can't race indoors. You can't race indoors. Okay, do we want to go into IndyCar?
IndyCar. Yeah.
Do you want to kick us off with the Nolan Siegel drama? Oh my God, the hottest guy on the block. Such a drama queen.
We have to talk about Nolan Siegel's problematic behavior at Gateway. It was caught on the radio. This was right after he got a blocking penalty for blocking. Scotty Mack, who had previously tried to slaughter him at Detroit. And so he gets this penalty, and he's driving down the pit lane, and just on his radio. I mean, I'll just summarize it because I don't have it memorized, but he was just like, that's like fucking bullshit. Fuck this. You can tell Penske to go fuck themselves.
And I heard that and I went, fuck yeah, period. Like, that's so true.
And as a result of this, I think nobody really knew about it until it started getting tweeted out. Some fool decided to tweet it out, and even like Nolan Siegel replied to it, and Scotty Mack replied to it and was like, nah, brother, we talked, we're fine. But as a result of this, Arrow McLaren had to put out a statement, and then they also made Nolan Siegel on his own personal Instagram stories stand in front of the camera and talk about, it was wrong of him to say such things, he needs to keep a level head, whatever, what have you. And basically all of the people who like kind of watch IndyCar were just like, is IndyCar getting too soft?
They don't watch IndyCar.
No. I think most of them are like, There were some funny like memes that came out of it. Like, I always think it's funny when they say like, I stand with my canceled wife. I think I do find that funny.
I think the sentiment of fuck Penske, I find interesting, personally. I find that an interesting sentiment, and I want to learn more. And you know what I mean? Whatever. I just like couldn't understand the people that were like, IndyCar is so soft. They like penalize people for saying fuck on the radio. And I was like, they don't care he said fuck on the radio.
No, that I fear was never the point. For those who don't watch IndyCar, Penske is actually the owner of the series.
Turns out you're not supposed to probably go on the radio and say Penske can go fuck themselves.
It would be similar if someone was in the car for F1, and of course they're not going to say fuck because that's illegal, but if they were like, screw the FIA, like, oof, that's an issue. Or if like Ryan Blaney was driving and he's like, you know what, someone tell Jim France he can go fuck himself. It'd be like, ooh, like I get why that's an issue.
I think that actually is a penalty in F1. If you like say something that's directly targeting towards the stewardship, then you could get a penalty. So like with all these people that are acting like this is like some IndyCar specific sort of thing, it's like, unfortunately, that's actually just a rule everywhere.
Yeah, I think people just either were missing the point or they didn't have all the puzzle pieces and they thought the issue was fuck. The issue is not fuck. They all say fuck. Many a time. That's frequently. Not the issue. No one was mad that he was upset about the penalty. They all get mad about the penalties. Good. That's fine. Not a big deal. It was the fuck Penske part. And then also another little piece of the puzzle that people may not have picked up on is that it was announced this weekend that Kyle Moyer, who was one of the strategists, I don't know if you remember, from the Penske scandal, who got fired.
The cheating scandal?
The cheating scandal from Penske, the owner of the series.
Right.
Well, yes. He was hired as Nolan's strategist. So there was just a lot of things that made it so this situation was not going to fly under the radar. But I think I got really frustrated with people just being like, IndyCar doesn't let their drivers say fuck. It's like,
don't put that on us.
No.
Like, you're allowed to say fuck in IndyCar. What I was getting mad about was like, is it a hot take if hundreds of other people have posted a TikTok about it saying the same thing?
We can't. No one's ever allowed to say hot take anymore in motorsports because they're just like, hot take, I don't think what Nolan Siegel said was that bad. And I was like, hot take, I am spontaneously combusting at that take. Like, I can't keep doing this.
Hot take, I'm going to block you if I hear this Billie Eilish song and your fuck ass text on a screen talking about Nolan Siegel again. I think I'm going to end this for both of us.
This is your villain? This is your villain, IndyCar? And it's like, no, the Penske
nobody said he was a villain.
No, we're protecting the little boy from the Penske guy.
We all have decided that there's like literally like 3 villains in IndyCar. One of them's Roger Penske, one of them's Santino Ferrucci, and the other one I can't say because people fuck with him. Rossi. Oh, I'll edit that out.
You guys, she whispered it. You couldn't tell.
Don't
it was
say
edited.
anything
It's
guys.
AI.
Don't say anything to guys.
Stop.
Don't hate. This is like our little secret. Just the people that listen to Laps Down 30 minutes into the episode.
I think we've probably lost most people by now, if I'm being completely honest. But that's our take on the Nolan Siegel situation. He is allowed to say fuck. He is not allowed to say fuck Penske, which I think is, personally, I think that's fair.
And nobody even made the funniest joke, which would have been like the Nolan Siegel thing, and then it would have been that audio that's like, what's your favorite cuss word? Probably fuck.
Fuck.
Because that's actually his energy.
You should have done that.
Okay.
There's still time. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
people are still fucking liking TikToks about this several days later, so that's good. Upgrades for 2028. Do we want to say anything about that?
It's like, I don't know, maybe we'll talk more in depth about it next weekend when there wasn't a race to talk about. I'm of the mindset that I don't believe you until you make these updates, until they are sitting right in front of me at Road America. I do not believe that these are coming because they keep pushing them back. But apparently it's going to make things easier. The hybrid's going to be lighter, whatever, what have you. If you believe it.
If you're an F1 fan new to IndyCar, it's essentially like the regulation change and everything that it's promised to do for F1. It's like every problem that you have with F1, this regulation change is supposed to fix it all. Like the cars are going to be smaller and easier to pass, whatever. They're doing something similar with IndyCar. The difference is, though, is that the date for regulation changes in F1 seems a little bit more concrete. The change for IndyCar, it's actually up to this guy, I think called Roger. I think it's Roger Penske again.
Raj,
or do you think it's? I think I heard actually that they are trying to. They had to fix the chassis and then give enough time to the power unit people to do their part of it.
Well, yeah, and from what it sounds like, the chassis are done, so we're just waiting on the other components. People. But good news is it sounds like Honda's going to be sticking around. I know that's something that, were we worried about it? I don't know. Some of us were, some of us were not. But this does indicate that Honda's going to stick around so we can still be hoes for Honda. That's fun.
Dude, Honda has so many fucking hoes this season.
Look, I mean, you can't hate them for winning, you know?
You can't. That's so true, MJ.
Unless you're a Chevy.
And then you can hate them publicly in the post-race interview.
In Detroit.
Well, I think actually...
St. Pete. I think he's done it a couple times.
Yeah, most of them. So anyways, do you want to get into the race?
Yeah, let's talk about the race. This weekend we were at Road America, and every time we go to Road America, I'm always like, really? Road America. But then, like, once we get there and once the weekend starts, I'm like, woo, Road America. But there's just something about, like, the aura of, like, Road America that I'm like, it's just, like, outside and there's, like, bugs and it's not going to be that cool. But the racing is amazing
I've decided, like, this is, like, one of the IndyCar races that I most would want to go to. Like, I would rather go to this over, like, you know, I think this is more fun than, like, a Long Beach.
Oh, I agree. I would agree.
What I mean? Like, I would rather go watch this.
That's fair. But there's just something about it where, like, leading up to it, I can't get myself excited for it.
Is it because it's in Wisconsin?
Maybe. But
okay.
I kind of fucks with Wisconsin.
I do too. I just was giving you an opportunity to, like, come clean if you don't fuck with Wisconsin.
No, I fuck with Wisconsin.
Okay.
Anywhoosie. We started off with qualifying. I fucked with Wisconsin. I do. Okay.
Just go on then. You're not convincing me more the more you say
it. So we had qualifying this weekend. The issue is it was really, really hot. And as we know, tires hot, rubber hot, hard. When car get hot, it's hard. As everybody knows.
Famously.
As the ancient proverb says. But Big things to note from qualifying. Scott Dixon got a penalty for impeding
I didn't even see it, but I don't think he did it.
I mean, yeah. I want another angle for sure.
I walked away for like 2 seconds and I come back and I just see Scott Dixon looking worriedly outside of his car. And then they said he's waiting to find out if he got a penalty. And I was like, oh, he didn't get a penalty. He's fine. I didn't see it or anything, but like I think he is.
Yeah, so he didn't get to move on to the super speedy Fast 12. That's unfortunate. We did have Rahal and Foster make it to the Fast 6, along with Lundgaard, Kirkwood, McLaughlin, and Palou. And then, funnily enough, we had a Rahal Letterman Lanigan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought the storm siren was about to go off. A Rahal Letterman Lanigan on pole. Louis Foster got his first pole.
So this is interesting for many reasons. One, what is wrong with these RLLs? Why are they in the Fast 6, let alone 2 of them? They were the only team that had 2 people in the Fast 6. That's like fucked up, okay? Like I think the FBI, once again, FBI, go back and do your job, okay? Please. There's something going on over there. But then they get pole with a rookie, which is interesting because there's been a rookie that has gotten pole here before. What is it about Road America? Like, it's not an easy track by any means.
That's a great question. I don't know how he got pole last year either. It wasn't Louis, it was Linus Lundqvist, but he got taken out by his teammate. I don't know. I don't know what it is about this track because it's not an easy track. It's super long. There's like, elevation changes.
It's
the
anti-rookie.
Are crazy. Yeah, but then there's something about a rookie just really loves to send it on this track, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, though, it was funny because then Will Buxton, he said something, and I was like, well, you're so funny to me sometimes. He goes, oh, a win is not the goal here today for Louis Foster. In fact, not a podium either. If he gets a top 10, that is a success for him from pole. And I just thought, do you think that sounds a little crazy when you say it out loud?
Well, that wasn't very nice of you. Sometimes those thoughts can stay inside.
I literally was like, no, that's a little crazy. Now, this did open the door, too, for some discussion about aerodynamics because he had a mustache and then he shaved it. What do you think about this option? Do you think it's viable?
I think that as someone who has taken stats twice in their education career, I would say that correlation is not causation. If you at home have a mustache and you're thinking of shaving it off, don't. You will not get to work quicker. There is no way that we can scientifically prove that him shaving his mustache put him on pole. And thank heavens he didn't win, because he said if he won that weekend, he would never get a mustache again. So that was scary. That was very scary.
I've been like thinking about it, and I keep thinking like I think about this late at night. I'm like, what are we gonna do to get these F1 people to watch IndyCar? And I'm not gonna lie, for a while there, I was kind of thinking we run in the direction of his mustache. Like I was like, do you think that the F1 girlies know that there's a guy out there with a porn stash? Like, do you think that would like help? Like, do you think it would help the masses if more people knew about this? I thought it was like a really interesting marketing technique. I thought like we could just like, if we could just get the word out there that there was like a young man with a porn stash out here driving cars, I thought more F1 girlies would be interested.
The mustache, the curly hair, he's got an accent. I don't know. Why were we ever marketing him?
Graham Rahal's talking about his fucking commercial. How about we get a commercial for Louis Foster?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the sound of that. Interesting. Okay. Let's actually do the race then.
Let's do the race. We get off to a good start. And by good start, I mean Louis leads off the start. So already Will Buxton eating his words. And then it takes about, it wasn't even the end of the first lap. And David Malukas beaches himself in the gravel, which I would have assumed that would have been the end for him. But he was able to... they came out with their shovels and they dug him out and they took him.
He had a little hole in his front wing. No worries.
But he was literally fine. Went on to have a really good race. This is where we started our like multiple strategy situation. Scott Dixon, who had the penalty, was started in the back. decides to go in for tires like lap
Right away.
2. Okay.
Wonder how that's
Sounds
gonna
good.
play out.
I can't wait to see. So that's where our second strategy, our alternate strategy, started. And then that's about the time I also kind of stopped being able to keep track of what was going on. Like, as soon as we introduced this second strategy, and
Well, can I offer something too?
Mhm.
This was like pretty early in the race, and Kyle Kirkwood, I think, started at third. He started like bleeding spots really fast because he was on a hard tire. So why didn't he go in with Scott? Because then he would have been, spoiler, on a pretty good strategy, because clearly it worked out for Scott Dixon generally, minus the like lap or 2 fuel, whatever. And he was like getting fucked on those hard tires. We could have had like another Kyle Kirkwood win. Almost, if they would have just put me in the strategy
it was
box.
definitely, and they should have.
They really
could
should
take
have.
over for Brian Herta. Step in.
Yeah, me. I think I could actually do a better job than Brian Herta, if anybody's wondering.
Don't worry, Brian. I've got this. I think a lot of them were kind of kicking themselves for not taking the strategy. But also, there is one thing about following Scott Dixon's strategy. It's like, it could be the best strategy in the world, but it's like, it's Scott Dixon's best strategy in the world, and I am not Scott Dixon.
Yeah. I think, like, honestly, you know who should have just taken his strategy? Kiffin Simpson. Because we've established that he is just, like, turning into Scott Dixon. He could have, like, literally just, like, done that.
Will Buxton said on the broadcast that the night before he saw Kiffin Simpson and Scott Dixon, like, going out to ice cream together. And I was like, oh my god, he's been adopted. They're talking strategy.
Oh
that was really endearing when I heard that. So we obviously have that caution, and then we get going again, and immediately we have another caution, and this time it is for Robert, bless his heart. He just, like, lost it, essentially. It was all of his fault. That's what they kept telling us on the broadcast. They kept going, shame.
He just braked. Like, there's, like, whatever late braking looks like, and then there's whatever Robert did. Like, it was, like, nowhere in any race would braking that late ever work. And I think he just forgot how to not drive on ovals. Like, he was so focused on getting good at ovals, he forgot how to drive not ovals.
He's so perplexing. His whole season has been so perplexing, especially coming off like obviously the Indy 500 pole, and then last week he had a top 10 at an oval, and then, I don't know, bless his heart. So that finished his race, which is nice because it was hot outside. So he did get to, like, enjoy the day outside of a car.
He was cooking in that Italian mobile like a little rigatoni.
That's so true. That is, you know what?
Don't look at me like that. He was. Are you gonna look at me and you tell me he wasn't boiling in that little pot of green and red stew like a little rigatoni in pesto and marinara? Are you gonna tell me that that's not what was happening, MJ?
No, I'm co-signing.
I'm adding this to the list of reasons why Lapsdown is gonna break up.
We haven't updated that recently. We should do that.
Yeah.
Then we had this, it's always Will Power and Kyle Kirkwood. They had a little spat. I'm trying to differentiate between the first time and the second time.
I know the first beef.
Okay.
So the first beef is that Will Power and Alex Palou are, like, kind of going at it behind Kyle Kirkwood. And then Will Power gets this bright idea of, like, what if I kind of take a page out of Robbie's book and just, like, break, like, ungodly late, like, to the point where it's like you're literally not going to make the turn, and hit Kyle Kirkwood in the process. And then as I'm hitting Kyle Kirkwood, Alex Palou is passing both of us.
Which, like, right on by.
Yeah. And then Kyle Kirkwood is like, I was in front of you, and now you're fucking hitting me. When is this going to end? Between this and Detroit, like, what is your fucking problem? And he, like, kind of, like, out the fucking window at him.
Hand.
And then, like, he kind of got on the radio, I think, and got a little sassy too.
Yeah, he was like, they should give me that spot back.
Yeah, and then somebody was like, that's not actually how this works. I think it was James Hinchcliffe was like, yeah, that's not really how that works.
I rarely have I seen them give a spot back in IndyCar. It's usually like, look,
Also,
try not to fuck around or else you're going to find out.
Also, like, I think Will Power was still behind him. I think he was insinuating, like, Alex Palou, who passed the both of them. He's like, I'm not giving any spot. But what do you mean? Like, you guys are acting like dumbasses. And I passed you. So that was the first beef. And it's like, generally, I think that James, I texted you what they said on the broadcast. It was something along the lines of, like, why is Will Power always driving like this? Or something like that. Like, the commentators were just like, that was never gonna work. Like, they basically were like, what is his fucking problem?
Yeah. And that's fair. And what is his problem specifically around Kyle Kirkwood? He just, like, chooses a young guy every year, and he's like, I'm actually gonna make your life hell. You don't know it yet, but I'm gonna make your life hell.
Last year it was David Malukas. Yeah, this year it's Kyle. And the difference is that Kyle's, like, actually trying to win. Like, no offense to David Malukas last year, but it's like Kyle's actually trying to win races. Like, he's, like, kind of in a championship fight. As close as we're going to get. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, can you please? Like, he literally got passed by his championship rival because Will Power ran into the side of him.
No remorse, because it happens again later.
Yeah, I don't remember this. I don't remember what started the second. Like, Kyle kind of went out for revenge, right? The second time?
It was kind of because the first one Kyle made a move to avoid, and this one he just kind of got into, if I remember correctly, they kind of blur together because they were near the same part of the track.
Turn, yeah.
He just got in the way of Will Power. I don't remember specifically. I remember it being it was more Kyle's fault than Will Power's this time, but it was still just kind of like, yeah, because Will got on the radio and was like, I should probably get that spot back, don't you think?
Will is so, like, unaware of, like, the chaos he causes in Kyle's fucking head, though. Like, he didn't even say anything on the radio after he fucking smacked Kyle the first time. Just like, oh, casualty. That's what you get for being near me on the track. That was actually your first problem.
You were where I wanted to be.
Yeah. Oh, God. Okay. Where are we at now? Oh. VK. And at the same time, VK, what the fuck was going on with him?
He had 2 penalties. So he had one because he jumped the restart.
Okay.
And, you know, that happened, so we went to the back. And then he had another one, which was a drive-through for pitting and servicing under a yellow.
Okay.
So that kind of sent him to the back. But he ended up finishing pretty well, from what I remember.
Top 10.
Which, how is he...
Mm-hmm. Right.
How is he doing that in a Dale Coyne? And then, alternatively, my second follow-up question, where's Jacob Abel? Jacob, what are we doing?
I didn't see him once the whole day.
I didn't either. The only time I ever heard anything about Jacob Abel was when he would go off in practice and Jeff Gluck or Bob Pockris would tweet about it.
What is going on with Jacob Abel? Are you okay, buddy? Are we going to be okay back there?
Maybe they're just, like, really juicing Rinus VK's car and not Jacob Abel's?
I think that Rinus VK knows what it's like to be unemployed.
Yeah, that's true.
He's like looking down the barrel of the gun a little bit before, and now he has, like, a different type of fire. I would have thought, though, after getting bumped from the Indy 500, maybe Jacob Abel also had looked down a barrel of a similar gun.
That's true.
And gone, like...
He's still in that same machine from the Indy 500. Like, I don't know. There's not a whole lot we can do about it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason it was bumped from the Indy 500.
Right. No, that's so true. But if Joseph hadn't cheated... I'm just kidding.
If Joseph hadn't blended his attenuator himself,
he would have been bumped. Oh, God. I love IndyCar.
And then we had another caution. Do you remember the times when we were like, will IndyCar ever get another caution? Will we have another caution in IndyCar?
Yeah, when we cheered at David Malukas being beached at Barber, I think it was. We literally cheered. I stood up and cheered. Did you guys stand up and cheer in your house? I did.
And then this race, we were doing over-unders for How
yeah,
many?
I guessed 5, and I think Stingray Rob was like 4, and that was on like lap 20, and I was like, I don't think I guessed enough.
No. But he blames it on Marcus Armstrong braking. I didn't see any of that. I just saw him kind of lose it and then go off. And it was a hard hit, to be fair. He hits the wall and then he goes deep into the tire barrier. I don't know if I could, from what I was seeing and picking up on, it kind of just seemed like a little bit of a driver error versus like David, or not David. Was it David Malukas or Marcus Armstrong? It was Marcus Armstrong.
So they said, I think that he said something about Marcus Armstrong breaking in front of him a little like unexpectedly. The commentators made it sound like potentially Stingray Rob was like fucking around with something on his steering wheel and then like looked up and Marcus Armstrong was like braking. Because I think that he said something about like their manually like their manual like hybrid settings or something. I don't fucking know how the hybrid works, guys. I barely work here. He was like fucking around with something like that he had been fucking around with on every time he went through that turn. And so he might have been doing that and looked up and then Marcus was like brake checking him a little bit. Not brake checking, but like if you're not paying attention, it could feel like that.
It feels like a brake check when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So that happened. That ruined his race. And then the other Juncos Hollinger had an issue. What was his penalty for? Was his penalty only for
Connor Daly got a penalty for something.
Oh, his penalty has to do with his crash. So he went off into the gravel. He had to be pulled out. And they like tether them to the AMR safety cars to pull him out. And as the AMR safety team was like telling him to stop and wait because he still had that tether on, they had just unhooked it from the truck. He must have misinterpreted it. He said that he was just like confused. He's like, I couldn't see them. So that's apparently what happened.
Just step on it probably is what you do.
So he started to go. And like even I watched the replay today, like he goes a little bit and he's like, you could tell he's like, I feel like I did something wrong, but I don't know what it is. So he just keeps
they
going.
all started like going like this.
And they just had like the tether behind him driving down. He just gained a tail. And then he got...
Go ahead. Sorry.
He got a stop and go penalty for not obeying the IndyCar rules.
I think more specifically, it shows like just a general disrespect for the AMR safety team, which we have already established we love on this podcast. Like, I just kind of think like, Connor, if they didn't give you the thumbs up, they didn't give you the thumbs up. Like, I'm trying to be on your side here, and I do love you, but like, don't disrespect the AMR safety team. They looked really frustrated when he drove it away.
He apologized. He did apologize, which is, I mean, that's the least. I mean, he should be offering to pay their mortgages or something. Make it up to them. That's
he doesn't get paid to drive an IndyCar.
He just gets paid to podcast. So true. Me too.
Yeah, this is actually our full-time job, guys. You wouldn't believe it, but it is.
No, yeah, we drive an IndyCar for free. This is actually the juicer.
Yeah. Will Power, Karma's a bitch.
Yeah, he spun out, but it wasn't that big of an issue, but it was just like, yeah, of course, fucking Will Power would spin. That's how he drives. He drives at the risk of spinning out every single corner, and most of the time it's fine, but then sometimes it's not fine.
I've gone through like such a weird thing with Will Power. I used to hate him, then I became scared of him, and now I actually just like, I think it's like such an admiration, like a deep admiration I have for him, because it's just like, how do you get into this much trouble on this one race? Like an F1 race, normally it's like one thing happens per race that everybody talks about. We could do a full episode of just like a play-by-play of Will Power's race, and it wouldn't even
that could be fun.
Enough. Yeah, like it would be like we would need to do a two-parter.
Yeah,
lap by lap. Just what is he up to?
He's fun to watch, though. Like, you have to hand it to him. He's got the theatrics. He's ornery as hell. Like,
yeah.
And he's good. I mean, that's the worst part of it, is, like, it's one thing to be, like, theatrical and silly and kind of a demon on the track, but he does, like, win races. So he is good.
And I I think, like, you know, we didn't even put it in our notes, so I guess I'm not really spoiling. He's a pretty great finisher for Penske in this race. I'm pretty sure their best finisher in the race, right? Because of Joseph crashing.
Scotty Mac finished, I think, the best.
Oh. Well, he's best in the championship standing right now for Penske.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so true. Finished the most races.
Oh, no.
He only has one DNF. No, he has 2 DNFs, so he's tied. He's tied with Scotty Mac, who also has 2 DNFs.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyways, they own the series. That's just something to think about.
I mean, we didn't even put it. We didn't put it in here, but can we mention that Joseph had his 5th DNF?
Yeah, he did.
I forgot to put it in the notes. I'm saying we. It's me. I didn't put it in the notes. I'm sorry. He crashed, as Will Buxton said, of his own fruition. It was all his fault this time, as opposed to last time when we blamed it on Louis Foster. But he kind of ate shit a little bit.
Yeah, right around, it was turn 14, so he went into the tires. He, like, smacked the back of the tires, and the car was not going to be raceable. Thankfully, he was right next to pit lane, so he did kind of, like, hobble his way into pit lane. I don't know. I'm starting to worry about our friend Caleb, who is a Joseph Newgarden fan.
Yeah. It's really hard.
Every weekend is pain for him. I don't understand why it's happening, because it's like the cars were clearly good all weekend.
I have an idea. I think it's that they undid the rear attenuator thing.
Oh my god, it's because they unblended the rear attenuator.
Yeah. And that's what, like, the whole driving style was really contingent on.
Right. That's how he got that Indy 500 win, is because of the blend of the rear attenuator.
Both of them.
Twice.
Yeah. Every race he's actually won. Yeah, it's been because of the attenuator.
It's a rear attenuator that they just introduced in 2013.
Actually, last week,
2018.
Louis Foster actually crashed into him because he was looking at his attenuator. He was, like, distracted by his rear attenuator, and that's how he crashed. Yeah. It's really scary stuff out there, guys. I think we should let Penske blend their attenuator. I don't know. I know
the sport that way.
Yeah. Just let him have it. I feel kind of bad for Joseph because obviously not all the crashes have been his fault, but at the end of the day, 5 DNFs. It's not
Has
really.
It been 5?
He didn't finish Indy 500. He didn't finish last week. He didn't finish this week, and then I think he towards the beginning of the season had 2 other DNFs. I mean, I might be lying, but, like, I don't think I am.
That's a crazy amount.
Oh, here's my search history. I type in Joseph Newgarden. First thing that pops up, Joseph Newgarden, Trump.
Another reason that he may not be doing that well, he did go visit Trump in the White House. Something to think about.
Okay. Here we go. 2025 season. Okay, it doesn't actually say DNFs. He's had 1 top 5 this season. 3 top 10s. That's not good. Okay, let's go to by driver. He is... Oh, I'm scrolling pretty far down to find him. He is 17th in the championship right now. And... Okay, still, I don't even understand how to fucking work this website. By the way,
IndyCar doesn't give out information very easily, which is crazy for a sport that's trying to grow.
Yeah, just so you guys know, I don't know how to work this website. Okay, let me just literally go through every race. Yeah, no, that's fine. I can do that. I'm not, like, doing a podcast or anything. It's fine. A little bit.
He finished in St. Pete. Because there was only that one crash.
He DNF'd in Long Beach. And he did okay for this one. That was in Barber. What did he do in the did he DNF in Sancio? No.
Nope.
Okay, so maybe it was 4. Maybe they lied to me? Do you guys think that that's possible?
I think so.
Okay, so it's 4. It's 4. Okay, so basically, Will Buxton, fucking count your days, because now you're making me sound stupid on my own podcast. You can sound stupid on the broadcast, but you can't make me sound stupid on my own podcast. It's not very
He's
fair.
just predicting another one.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
I don't know. So what do you think? Joseph Newgarden losing his seat? That's just what everybody's saying on the internet. I don't know.
We listened to this podcast who is just like convinced that instead of like firing Willpower, which once again, like that's not what's happening. Like
it was
it's
on
like
Reddit
Willpower
too,
would
though.
retire. It's just they're like, well, why not just take Joseph Newgarden's spot instead? Because he's the cheater. And it's like, well, all of the Penske scandals are Penske scandals and not Joseph Newgarden scandals for a reason. But also, why would you get rid of Joseph Newgarden? He's just having a bad season. So is Colton Herta. So is
somebody
Potta.
put on the IndyCar Reddit today that they think that like maybe Joseph Newgarden is in bigger threat than Willpower of losing his seat. And I was like, I don't know if you guys understand. He did like almost three-peat the Indy 500. Like that's enough to keep you for a long while. A bad performance. If you do good in the Indy 500 and shit for every other race, you're actually pretty okay.
Yeah, you're just like a Indy 500 specialist, the way SVG is a road course specialist.
Let's start that. Joseph Newgarden is actually an Indy 500 specialist.
Yeah.
He'll just show up for that one go.
And you know what? Him and Takuma Sato, it's like, I'll cheer for him. Hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. Okay. Back to the doc. Christian Lundgaard spins out on his own while being the leader of the strategy he was on. They were like, okay, so here's what's going on. Over here we have Christian Lundgaard. Over here we have Scott Dixon. One of these is going to work out. And then Christian Lundgaard spins.
Yeah, he was battling with Cal
Kirkwood.
And then he ended up getting a penalty for something completely different where he was blocking. Oh my god, DiFrancesco. That guy again. And so we had to give only one space. Thank God. Only one space to Connor Daly, who is actually a lap down. Thank goodness. So that ended his race. That was too bad because he was looking pretty good. Had essentially done everything right. Mm-hmm. But what can you do? And then we get to the end. The last few laps. And this is where we start doing... This is where NASCAR on Prime would put up burn bars.
I was just about to say, damn, we need a fucking burn bar.
Dude. Ugh.
If you guys are not NASCAR watchers... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, Jeff Gluck wrote up like a whole thing, like a whole article on the technology of the burn bar and how it's like a huge thing now that it's been introduced. Essentially what the burn bar is it's gauging how much fuel they have left and whether or not they're going to make it till the end based on how much they're using at the time.
And they in NASCAR, if you don't watch, they don't actually know exactly how much fuel is ever in the car. It is always like a just calculation done by the people on the pit stall based on how much they think went into the car. But this burn bar is great because it'll show you a number of basically like the miles per gallon. Like the same as like when you go and buy a car and it's like, here's the miles per gallon of like, if you drive this car generally like a normal person drives a car, obviously that number is different when you're driving 100 and something miles per hour. But when you're driving and you're somebody like Scott Dixon, who's a fucking god, you can specifically save fuel by how you lift off the throttle, touch the brake, you know, like just generally coming in and out of corners. You can like kind of allow the car to coast a little bit more and save a lot of energy. You'll see him on caution laps sometimes. They pointed out like he's just coasting down hills during caution laps because Scott Dixon's like, just wiggling. Not fucking using my gas for that. Like, I don't need to go. It's under caution right now. But I would kill to see that number on Scott Dixon's fuel saving versus like an Alex Palou who's right behind him who was also fuel saving at this time. Basically, it was like Scott Dixon could win, but he came in 2 laps earlier than Alex Palou. They both were pretty short on fuel. So they were like, if Scott Dixon can't make it, probably Alex can. Right, because he had previously pit 2 laps later than Scott Dixon to get fuel. And then he's also, Scott's pulling him along on this track
because of how close his car is. So that also helped.
Scott's cutting the air for him so he can do a little bit more of that, like, just coasting. They said, I love when they said this because I never really heard it said this way, and it is a confusing concept for somebody that's new to fuel saving. They were like, dirty air is not great for passing, obviously, but that's not what Alex Palou is trying to do here. Mm-hmm. So, like, he's, like, just going to cook in Scott Dixon's dirty air.
Real nice. Coincidentally, he was also set up pretty nice in the Indy 500, where he kind of took that strategy of staying behind, which I mean, that's just part of the sport. But, so we did get another Alex Palou win.
But I'm going to say it. I actually thought Scott Dixon was going to win because they kept asking them, like, can they make it? Like, Jack Hollywood Harvey is on the pit lane asking, like, everybody in the Chip Ganassi pit stalls, like, can Scott make it? Can Alex make it? Like, what's going on here? They were playing very coy. And in my brain, I was like, we don't know how much fucking gas. We don't have a burn bar. I don't know how much gas Alex Palou or Scott Dixon has. Part of me was like, this motherfucker's fine on gas. I was like, they're going to, like, make us all think Scott Dixon's going to run out, but he's fucking fine. Turns out he was not fine. He was like, not I think fine. He was like a lap short. No, 2 laps short, which is exactly right on short. What we thought, because Alex Palou pitted 2 laps later.
Yeah, so I didn't realize everything worked out.
I didn't realize, though, everybody else was also fuel saving. I didn't realize that till after the race, when they just show everybody pull over because they don't have enough fuel to make it around for a cooldown lap. Except for fucking Alex Palou.
Something to think about. Well, it's because, and that's a result of him being in Scott's dirty air for that whole time. He wasn't driving, he was just being pulled along. But the scene truly after that race, it was like those zombie apocalypse movies where it's like everyone like abandons their car on the interstate and you're just like walking through a bunch of abandoned cars. That's what it looked like. And it was very funny. And we also got the moment of Santino Ferrucci. A bunch of them were going up to like fans in the stands being like, hey, can you chuck me a water bottle? Like Graham Rahal got one. Santino Ferrucci tried to get a water bottle, but it broke. And so he asked for a beer. And so he drank a beer, which was cool. Still don't like Santino Ferrucci, but beer is cool.
Hate to see it. Yeah, beer is actually really sick and cool if you're of age. It's actually really cool to drink beer.
We love beer. I love beer. I love drinking beer.
I don't love beer. I'll let you cook. That's just
the Ross Chastain quote. I don't drink beer either.
Yes, you do.
But I'm happy for you guys. I do not drink beer.
You said to me one time that you drink beer when you watched the Indy 500. On the team.
Oh, that's true. I did that last year. There's something about like, and it's like the party beers. It's like, no, give me a Bud Light. Let me drink a Bud Light while I'm watching these cars on TV. It's not like fun. I'm not doing it because I enjoy it. I'm doing it because like I can feel that that's what needs to be done. You know?
Yeah. I like, let's talk about drinking. That makes us look cool. I like high noons.
I don't think I've ever had a high noon.
I think that White Claws taste like beer, and I don't like the taste of beer. So I drink.
To me, all alcohol tastes the same is my issue. It all tastes like rubbing alcohol. Mm-hmm. And so you just kind of, sometimes it has bubbles, sometimes it's yellow.
Yeah.
What can you do about it?
Yeah, we're actually not much of drinkers. I just thought it might like make us seem quirky and relatable.
I love a ginger ale though.
Oh, do you like Moscow Mules?
I do like Moscow Mules.
Yeah, that'd be the perfect drink for you. I like spicy margaritas with jalapenos in them. Yeah, if you guys have ever seen me
at friend Jimmy Buffett.
Oh, I do love Jimmy Buffett. I like Margaritaville too. I went actually. That's so funny. I went, and when I went to Miami, did you know I went to? Yeah.
Whoa! Did you like film it or anything? Is there any way that we could live vicariously through you?
I think that like there might be like vlogs like on this YouTube channel that like depict my entire adventure at Miami, where I like went and paid tribute to Jimmy Buffett.
That'd be sick. I'll go check it out, like it, and leave a comment.
That's good. That's a good idea. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. That was really funny, Santino, but not funny enough to make me like you.
So we had Alex Palou obviously won, feathering his lead in the championship. We had Santino Ferrucci in P2. And then we had Felix Rosenquist in P3, and he was so out of practice getting a podium that on the radio he goes, "Wait, where do we park our cars if we have a podium?"
I love Felix. I was really hoping that Santino was going to run out of fuel so that Felix could get second.
I know. I was hoping they were all going to run out of fuel so we could get Felix into a win. I feel like it's coming. MSR is doing really well. They both had a top 5 this weekend. Their day is coming. I wouldn't predict it be on a road or street course. I would have assumed it would be on an oval, but whatever we got to do. Louis Foster, as Will Buxton said, did not get a top 10. He got P11. Best finish ever, so that's something. Another top 10 for Kiffin Simpson. He got P6, which just shows that he is taking notes in the Scott Dixon courses that he has been enrolled in.
Yeah.
And then Nolan Siegel, the villain of IndyCar, I don't know if he said fuck or not, I wasn't listening to his radio, but he was the highest finisher for Arrow McLaren in P8.
That's not a good finishing position for Arrow McLaren.
Well, to be fair, he did start pretty far back. But for him to be the top by like a wide margin, that's the issue. There's something going on with
What
Aaron.
happened to Petto? Because we know what happened to Christian.
I don't know.
Christian was doing great, and then he spun. So, like, Christian's is like, okay, happens, made a driver error, spun, got a penalty, whatever.
Pato was on a different strategy outside of the two.
Yeah.
Because he pit. Yeah, so I think that's
he was
what
just
was
on
happening.
a wrong
He
strategy.
probably had to pit for fuel and then couldn't like blend out where he needed to. I'm assuming they didn't show anything, so that's just me making an inference. But I don't know.
I will say, guys, I learned something this weekend while watching IndyCar. I usually watch it on my TV, and I cannot hear any of the commentary because they turn the sound of the cars up to like the same sound of the commentary. MJ told me that doesn't happen on the laptop. So maybe next week I'll be able to contribute more to this IndyCar conversation. But I couldn't tell you what happened to anybody's race, honestly, because I'm like, I can't hear anything.
She was just listening to the car noises.
I was like, good luck out there, guys.
I'll see you at the end. But
That's
and then the standings. Wait, this is important to me because as everyone knows, I am a Kyle Kirkwood fan. Alex Palou has 386 points. Previously, Pato took P2 in the championship. However, he has been bumped by Kyle Kirkwood, who has 293 points, and then Pato has 275 points. And then right below them, like 4th, 5th, and 6th, it's all like really close, and then there's a gap. So we do have a little bit of mixing in, like, there's a little bit of a fight in there. I don't know if Kyle will ever catch up to Alex Palou, but maybe.
Maybe. So our next IndyCar race is Mid-Ohio, and then
Mid-Ohio.
Iowa. 2 ovals? What does that mean for Alex
Iowa's
Palou?
2 ovals? He didn't do well there last year, so he crashed right in front of me.
How did he do at Mid-Ohio?
That was the him and Pato fight, so I believe he got second.
Interesting to see how that will play out. I think that Kyle Kirkwood, he was there this week, even though he ended up not getting on the podium. Like, he was there. Like, he was fighting with Alex Palou most of the day. He was okay. Yes, thank you, Bubby. So it's interesting because like it really does seem to be just between these two. But, like, when Alex Palou is there, I think that Kyle Kirkwood's going to be there, too. I mean, he figured out some oval shit, too. They're both figuring out their oval shit. It's just going to be, like, which one can figure it out the most and better.
Yeah.
So you're rooting for Kyle. I think I am, too. I like Alex, but, like, I think it'd be interesting just for the championship battle of it all.
Yeah. I'm not rooting. Like, if Alex wins his 4th, like, hell yeah. Fair. Like, I'll be just as excited. But I like a battle. What can I say? I like a battle. I like Kyle Kirkwood. I like the fact that people just, like, constantly underestimate him, even when he is, like, clearly in the lead. They're like, something's gonna happen. I don't know. I think it would be fun.
I'm sorry to the audio listeners that have to hear my cat. It's just, like, things are really getting away from me here.
She's a single mom this week.
A single mom
She's doing her
works
best.
2 jobs. By 2 jobs, it's like my regular job and then whatever this is.
Yeah. But
okay. Anything else IndyCar?
Nope,
No?
it's just as boring as NASCAR or as Red Bull dominance, according to all the people who don't watch IndyCar. So that's me wrapping that up.
There's the thing about Alex Palou is I can't hate the guy for dominating because every time it's like he's not even supposed to win the race, and it's interesting how the fuck he ends up there.
Oh yeah, every single race is interesting. It's not comparable to the Red Bull dominance era because they would start on the front and they would finish at the front. It's like there was no racing happening in between. This is like, he'll start in the back. I don't know how he got up there. I don't know what he did, but now he's winning. Now he's pitting for fuel, but now he's winning again. I don't know. Yeah. It's fun. I'm having a good time. Alex Palou dominance will never bore me.
No, I'm not bored. You see fucking Will Power committing crimes against Kyle Kirkwood and you go, what's that over there? Is that Alex Palou? What the fuck is he doing here? Sneaking on by.
Dude, you see Louis Foster taking out Joseph Newgarden, and you go, who that in the back? It's Alex Palou. Sneaking on by.
Yeah.
How does he do it?
I don't know. On to NASCAR. I watched Xfinity this week, and I had the best fucking time. I fucking love Xfinity so much, guys. I love Xfinity. This week, we had a suspension of Connor Zilich's usual crew chief. Why did he get suspended again?
It was for a nuts and bolts situation a few races before
I hate it when that happens.
Mexico.
I hate it when that happens. So, Connor Zilich didn't have a crew chief. If only there was somebody who would step up. Who's that? Who's that stepping up? Who's the dad that we didn't ask the dad we deserve? Is that Dale Jr.?
Dale Earnhardt Jr.?
Yeah, he of course is the owner of Junior Motorsports, but he's also Connor Zilich's crew chief for Pocono. Dad. Right. No, that's yeah. So anyways, he talked about it a little bit on his podcast. So me and MJ were like building up the excitement all week because he was like really fucking hype about this. He would not shut up about how excited he was to be the crew chief.
He was specifically talking about how one of his jobs, he was telling his wife about it. It was on Bless Your Heart. And he was telling his wife how one of his jobs is going to be, he's going to go down during the pit stops. He's going to be behind the pit wall, but it is very important that he catches this right front tire. That's his job. He's like, and he had been going to pit crew practices. He had been mentally preparing. He had his little gloves on. He was ready for it. So like the lead up to this race was amazing.
So the race starts. They go in for their first pit stops, and we have a Dale Earnhardt Jr. cam. We have a Dale Earnhardt Jr. cam because they're like, well, he's like got to catch the tire, and then this other person emerges. I don't even know who the fuck they are. And they just catch the tire for him. And Dale, like, looks, like, clearly defeated. He, like, walks away. He's like, oh, rats. I was going to catch it, but, you know, like, that guy came in front of me. You know what I mean? He just made sure I got it, you know, whatever. And then we have another pit stop. And it's, again, a Dale Jr. cam. And I'm so excited. And then MJ's like, this motherfucker took the tire again. Somebody came and took the tire.
Catching the tire. Which I get you don't want anyone dicking around during your pit stops, but I was also like, he's been practicing. And he was going to catch it. Like, I could see him raring to go. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I was really sad for him, but the second time it happened, he seemed like much more okay with it. He was like fist bumping guys and stuff. So he felt like he was a part of it.
Yeah. They like made him feel included, even though he did not touch a tire once. He didn't really have to get off the top of the box. I don't know why he did, but
he held a tire and that they took from him. So he did half of his job.
Okay. No, that's good. Okay. Well, he ends up being a winning crew chief. I'm trying to remember. There was it a fuel saving race? What happened at the end? That was like Dale made like a call that it was like he made the call that kind of won Connor the race a little bit. I don't know. I wasn't remember. I didn't even take note of it apparently because I thought probably in the moment like I'll never forget this. This is such a big moment. here we are. I don't remember. But Connor Zilic ends up winning Pocono, and it's really exciting for a couple reasons. One, of course, Dale Jr., his crew chief, it really felt like he was a key part of this win. He wasn't just like clocking in to like play pretend to be the crew chief. He actually was like making calls.
Warm body is what they called him. They said it's just a publicity stunt. He's just the warm body up there. And I was like, do not disrespect my favorite podcaster like that.
Yeah. And oh my God, the radio content we were getting that they kept playing, like, because there was a lot of like really high intensity restarts at the end. And Dale was like really clocked in on the radio, and he was like making Connor feel affirmed that he was on the right track and that he was going to be able to make it through these restarts. Because Connor doesn't always fare well in restarts during these Xfinity races, especially if he's leading the race. Somebody's going to ruin this for him. And I'm very glad they didn't. And it's also Connor Zilic's first oval win. I don't know. People were being like dicks about it and being like, it's not actually an oval, it's a triangle. And it's like, but it's like also not a road course. So can we just like let him fucking have this, please, guys?
Yeah, he's got it. And he made sure to come out of the roof hatch, which Dale on his podcast had said, yeah, I always think when drivers go out of the roof hatch, it's because they've been cheating. And he said that to Justin Allgaier, who was like, no, I definitely always go out of the roof hatch.
Yeah. I don't know.
But
I wish I understood.
He did it specifically.
What is the correlation there between coming out of the roof hatch and cheating? Because I know there's like also like if a driver like fucking rams the shit out of their car during their burnouts that they're cheating. And that one to me makes sense because it's like they're just fucking destroying the evidence. Like they're like, you're not even going to be able to know what I did because I fucking smashed the car into the wall. I don't understand the roof hatch thing. But
I don't either.
Connor comes out and he had like a little shit starting grin. And the gal who does the post-race interviews is like, you know you're not supposed to do that. Your team owner hates it. And he goes, and I was like, you're such a little shit starter. Oh my God. But I'm really happy for Connor. And it was funny listening to Ryan Blaney too towards the end because he was the commentator from the Cup Series for this race. And he was talking about Connor because they asked him and he was like, yeah, I like watching him race, but he's going to be a problem for me in like a year or two. And I do think that is, I mean, he's kind of like he's making waves in Xfinity. Cup Series drivers are taking note that this kid is going to be the one fucking with their day pretty soon.
If he keeps winning and Daniel Suarez keeps not winning, I fear that day may come sooner than later.
Right. I don't know. I think that he still has some work to do. I mean, he did his like Cup start. He did the Coda race, which is like a great race for him. Then he did Coke 600, which I think it's like he's just still trying to like prove himself a little bit on like the ovals. And I don't think he would be like a threat to Ryan Blaney during the Coke 600 next year. No. Yeah. But like, I think if you're looking for honestly, the people that would be like, damn, this kid's about to be a fucking problem for me. It's probably SVG. It being like, damn, this kid's about to be a fucking problem for me. This is like kind of my thing.
You know who he would be a problem with where he runs a lot? Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
I can't wait for
I think
him to
those
crash
two
out
would be...
Yeah. I need a Carson and Connor takedown of Ricky next year, please. It'd be so fun. Can't wait. Okay, the actual Cup Series race. I did not watch qualifying, so I'll let you. What's going on with Byron here?
Qualifying happened. Byron crashed. He crashed, destroyed his car. They said, we're not going to a backup. We're going to fix this car. And so they fixed the car. He started from the back. Also, Bubba Wallace allegedly had a potential pole position car, and then it just wouldn't start, which I think is hilarious because 2311 is such a shit show. Yeah, of course your car doesn't start.
Like, I feel like your car not starting, I mean, that is...
almost as bad as if the entire team's brakes blew up or something.
I would hate it for that to happen. Oh, we'll get to that. No, it's like a potentially pole-winning car. It's not potentially pole-winning because it was apparently built by 2311, so it doesn't start.
Right.
I don't believe you. What is going on with that team? It's so
Dude,
embarrassing.
Such a shit show. Like, it's...
I
And they have the talent, too, between Bubba and Tyler. It's like, you could be doing well, but it's always something dumb with them.
Those two should both have wins this season.
Oh,
Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace should both already have wins. The fact that neither of them do, and they're like, what, hoping to make it to the playoffs via points at this stage in the year? Like, we're getting a little out of hand, I think. I wanted 2311 to come out here and, like, kind of have, like, a vengeance arc because of this whole lawsuit thing. It's actually quite the opposite. It's actually like, you know what? Okay, you don't have charters anymore. I don't even fucking know. You don't have brakes that work. So, like, you know, you win some, you lose some.
They're spending too much time on the lawsuit. You gotta let the engineers get back to work.
The engineers every day are like, do I have to sit in the courtroom? I don't really think I add anything to this.
I'm not a part of the charter system.
You're like a seat filler, okay? Just sit there, wear a suit, and just stop complaining so much, please.
They're just patting the benches.
Whenever, like, the judge says something that they like, there's just like a woo from the back, and it's just the people that are supposed to be making sure the right front brakes work properly. Anyways, apparently, though, the brakes were an issue for 2311, though, because of the heat.
Yeah, they were much hotter than everyone else. Or
there was one other person that had their brakes explode.
Michael McDowell.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
So they were like, see, it's not just 2311. And I was like, yeah, but it did happen to all three of the 2311 cars.
It was
so, like,
100% of the 2311 cars. It was just one Spire
Michael
car.
McDowell. One Michael McDowell.
One Michael McDowell. That's the price we paid.
That's all we have is one Michael McDowell. me making my fantasy lineup every week. All I have is one Michael McDowell. Will it save me? Speaking of save, Carson, pretty early in the race, smacked his car booty on the wall a little bit, and it straightened him right out.
He, like, it was a cool happenings to watch. He just, I don't even know. He just lost it going through the corner and lost the rear, and his little hood flap came up, and he corrected it, and everyone on the broadcast was like, that's probably going to be save of the season. I've never seen anything so good like that. That's probably the best thing I've ever seen. As a driver, I can say, as Carl Edwards, I can say that was very hard. He did a very good job. That is very impressive. And I was like, hell yeah, okay.
And then
because I saw it and I was just like, Colton Herta does that once a week. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
I've seen Christian Rasmussen do that like 6 times just in one Indy 500 run. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, he smacked the back of his car on the wall and straightened himself out a little bit. Boo-hoo. He's fine. And then they probably launched into like a 20-minute discussion about how Carson is probably going to win a race this year. Just stop looking at him, guys. I think everybody just stop looking at him. He's not going to win a race if you're looking at him.
No, you're putting him under so much pressure. Just let him be.
Ugh. Okay, and then we had Denny win stage 1. Cool. Good for Denny Hamlin. Okay. He started
That's your job. You're supposed to do that, Denny.
Okay, why are we getting so aggressive at Denny? Easy on him. Okay, Allmendinger. What the flip? I had to watch this pit stop thing like 6 times to figure out what happened.
So what happened was AJ Allmendinger was going into his pit box, all right? And then you've got the tire carrier coming across front. And as he's coming across the front, AJ Allmendinger hits him and backs him up a little bit, and then SVG comes through and kind of hits the tire, which then hits the shit out of one of his tire changers, because he had the gun in his hand, so it hits his, like, the gun into his chest, and, like, you can tell that, like, his hand is fucked at the moment.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is AJ Allmendinger fucking hates SVG.
Dude, I've been saying this since the Roval last year. AJ Allmendinger has it out for SVG.
Problem for SVG.
But we're not going to talk about that because we're too busy talking about Carson Hocevar and Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Yeah, Fun Pops guy. You guys are fucking talking about that all the time. But what I'm seeing is cold-blooded attempted fucking murder. AJ Allmendinger hit on the tire changer of SVG.
On
and
the
you guys know how
safety culture car. On the 88 safety culture car. What's safe about this culture?
I feel unsafe, generally.
AJ?
Whenever AJ's around, I feel unsafe, generally. And also, I'll say it. You know what? Fuck it. I'll go a step further. You guys know that SVG is sensitive when it comes to tires because they don't usually work for him. So for you to like fucking just mess with his tire changers as if they're not going through enough, honestly,
it hurts.
It's a bit ridiculous. It's a bit ridiculous that we allow AJ Allmendinger out here to like just do this to SVG. It's like a culture of bullying, not a culture of safety. Generally, that's how I feel. It's like SVG is like Allmendinger, but like instead of Celsius, it's Red Bull, and instead of Allmendinger, it's SVG. You know what I mean? It's just like everything about it is good and we like it more. And they don't call him the Dinger, which I will say I just don't like that. It makes me uncomfy.
Even saying it out loud, it's like, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, we're about to be demonetized because we keep saying the Dinger.
That's what he calls himself.
You're not allowed to call yourself that. Anyways, Riley's brakes explode, Bubba's brakes explode. Next. I'm not going to talk about that anymore. I feel so bad for Brad. Brad got done really dirty, I fear.
Oh. And Brad Keselowski was cooking. I mean, my man was in the kitchen. He had all the utensils out. The stove was turned on. Mm-hmm. And then we have a yellow. All right. Mm-hmm. And was it? Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was a yellow. Yeah. And so he was told, they got on the little headphones that are inside of his ears, and they go, hey, Brad, I think what we want you to do is actually come down the pit lane right now. Mm-hmm. And so Brad, following orders, goes down the pit lane. It was closed. Uh-oh. And you just see the crew chief with his head in his hands, like, what have we done? Because I think they obviously thought it was open, and then it didn't help that we had both Carson Hocevar and Denny Hamlin admitting to faking him out and pretending like they were going to go with him when they realized his mistake.
They didn't want him to look behind and see nobody following him into the pits, because then he would have had time to reverse course. So they purposely, these little fucking shit starters. Of course, I'm fans of both of them. Okay, honestly, what does this say about me? It's these two little shit starters. Their own pit crews go, what are you doing? Don't come down the pit lane. It's closed. And both of them separately, without even colluding with each other, went, yeah, I know. I just didn't want Brad to realize it was closed because that's funny.
That's crazy.
But Brad explained it on the post show of like, I don't even fucking know, but apparently it's like normally there's X amount of time after safety before it's like open. But then at Pocono, it's different or something. And he was supposed to know that. He said he's such a great guy. He literally was like, yes, it was a mistake by the crew chief and the pit crew to tell me to come in. But ultimately, it's on me to like know better. And I should have looked and seen that it wasn't open. And he like literally came on the radio as he was leaving. And they were like, dude, I'm so sorry. He's like, it's fine. Like, it'll come back to us.
Yeah, he was like, just keep your head in the game. Like, it's no big deal. He had a couple instances where he had to have that mentality. I don't know. I think I'm starting to hope for him. I'm starting to get hopeful for my little Brad, my little BK.
I think it's because he was in the little Build Submarines car. I literally think you and I are just sympathetic to the Build Submarines car. It's always that car.
I love submarines.
Guys. Ugh, me every day. I love submarines. I love submarines. So fun. I watched both Ocean Gate documentaries. That's how much I love submarines. The fucking Hocevar and Hamlin.
It's the anniversary of that.
I know. I saw that on the documentary, and I literally thought, like, I thought this happened like 3 years ago. I was like, what? What do you mean? I love Brad too, because he came on the post race show. Oh, I'm gonna miss you, Prime, in your post race show. And he was just so smiley, considering he could have won this race and he could have easily packed himself into that playoff group. And he still got a good amount of points because he was right. It did come back to them. They had the speed. He found his way back up at the front. I think he finished like 6th or something like that. And you would think that he would come onto the post. He wouldn't even want to come on the post race show, but he came on, and it was so interesting hearing him talk too about like being an owner too. Because there was another, he also kind of got done dirty by the caution later in the race. And we can just talk about that now. Basically, he was told to come in and he was like, let me do one more lap because I feel like there's a caution going to come in like 5 laps and we can like pit and then like the caution come out and it could benefit us. He ended up being off in his prediction by like a lap. And if he would have listened to what the crew chief said, he probably would have been in a better place strategy wise. And it's just like interesting because they asked Dale, they were like, you know, being an owner, you can kind of tell the crew chief no. Would you ever do that? He's like, why would I ever tell the crew chief no? I'm a fucking idiot. Like, he's like, if they say to come in, I'm going to come in. But Brad is like, you know, he's really like putting himself out there and he's trying to like make the risky call to get himself a win. But if it doesn't work, he literally just takes the ownership himself. And he's like, it's only my fault.
He's a fully formed adult with like an emotionally stable brain, and I think that's something we don't see a lot. So when we see it, it's like, hell yeah, Brad. No, you're right. It was your fault.
It was like a really
Thanks
professional and
being
good
an
response.
adult.
Yeah. I wonder if like you compare that. You and I both, as like newer NASCAR fans, I think that you and I, we were like, oh, it seems like Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski are sometimes in like a similar bucket in our brains of like, these are people that like used to be winning races all the time.
Get out of here, old man.
Yeah, and now they're like back here.
Done.
They're back here like literally fighting their fucking tails off for a playoff spot. And I think it's like interesting because I don't think that we see that from Kyle. With love, I don't mind a Kyle Busch like crash out. I just think like they're comparing the fact that they're like similar places in their career, and one of them is like crashing out on the radio every week for not winning, and then you have Brad that's like, we had a really good go at it today, guys. It's okay. We'll come back next week.
Figure it out. Yeah, Brad can't even keep his, or not Brad. Kyle can't even keep his car straight. So it's like he doesn't even get to have those. We'll get him back. It's like, no, You're tired of the car, my guy.
Yeah, I mean, that kicks us right into the same story we tell every week. Kyle Busch spins and takes out like 5 other cars in the process.
It's just like bowling at a certain point. Like bowling. Yeah.
Like with pins. And the pins are Christopher Bell, SVG, and Ty Dillon.
Damn.
It's not a fun bowling game, in my opinion, because I like 2 of those 3 names. I don't mind Ty. I don't know. I have no opinions on Ty Dillon. But I don't know. It's like I don't actually mind Kyle Busch. It just does get to a point where I'm like, why is it always you that's taking out like half the
always
field?
Him. You've got to chill. Ricky Stenhouse is going to beat your ass if you keep doing this. That's what I've been told.
I've been told. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Speaking of which, this is where like we start getting like a lot of restarts. And like just like lots of the race is with Ricky and Carson right next to each other. And I'm not gonna lie, I was like doing chores around the house and I was like, I'm gonna have to sit down for this one. Like I'm like clocked the fuck in because I was promised a fight. It never happened. It really never happened. I think that Carson was like tentatively hanging out behind Ricky because I think he was like, if I get in front of him, he's gonna crash me out.
I was listening to the onboard and it just kind of sounded like, if you don't think you can do it, don't do it. Like, if you don't think you can pass him clear, just don't do it. Just don't do it. But later in the race, we had a similar situation where Ricky Stenhouse Jr., typical bleeding spots, and Carson had to go by him, and you could just see, like, Carson take, like, a little extra space as he went around him. So it is in Carson's head.
It's tense. The relationship is tense. I don't know how long it will be tense for. When can we, like, how long does Carson have to not crash into Ricky before he can, like, start over?
I've decided that as soon as Carson wins, this is not an issue anymore.
Okay. That's fine with me. We can do that. Party. Okay. And then Tyler Reddick has to go to the garage to fix his brakes that are going to explode. They didn't explode yet, but they might. You know, they literally told Tyler, they were like, hey, Tyler, just a little note. If you feel like your right front brakes might explode, it's because they will, by the way, just so you know. It's happened to your 2 other teammates. And Tyler was just like, okay, there's a strange radio message, but I'll keep an eye on it. And Dale was like, that's the sound of an unconfident driver who thinks his brakes might explode. And I was like, this is the commentary I pay for. Like, I fucking love Prime. That's exactly what I was thinking, Dale. Chase Briscoe wins stage 2. This is when I started to get scared, I'm not going to lie, because we talked some shit on Chase Briscoe, I'm not going to lie. We did. And I was like, I would not like it if Chase Briscoe won this race, because it is too soon after we publicly talk shit about him for that to look good on us. Watch this space, guys. So in stage 3, around lap 120, everybody is making their final pit stops. And it was like triggered, like once one person did it, they all went in because the fresh tires were seemingly that much of a benefit on Pocono. Everybody got in there. SVG had a little spin though. And he had a little caution come out. He had a little spin, but he's getting better at ovals, guys. He's getting better at ovals. Stop with the... I know you guys are thinking right now, like, SVG's really bad at ovals. He doesn't deserve a playoff spot. We've already discussed this. Stop. Delete the comment. I don't want you to leave the comment. Delete it right now. I say, hey, delete the comment. And then Chase Briscoe comes in for his final stop. And he was told to, like, wait the extra time for the full amount of fuel. But, like, they're like, we're going to drop you off the jack. But, like, we're giving you full amount of fuel. Do not go until we say to go. They come into the pit. What does Chase Briscoe do? Submit your guesses now. What do you think he does, MJ? Do you think he waits for the command from his crew chief to go?
No. I think it's the other option. Where they drop the jack and then he goes.
And then he leaves. And then they were like, you can literally see everybody on his pit box being like, right, okay, so that was just the race win. Yep. Okay, cool. And this is what I love about the Prime broadcast. And I guess he's coming to the TNT broadcast too. What's his name? Steve? The crew chief guy? Commentator? I don't know. I don't fucking work here, guys. Dale's crew chief that's on the commentator team. I know you guys are just correct me in the comments. It's fine. He is like, yeah, that's a really big deal. And this is the first time I've ever heard this number. And I was like, why have I not given this number before? He was like, 3 seconds is the difference of about 6 laps of fuel. He was like, if I were to make an estimate right now, I would say the 3 seconds that he didn't wait. Because they showed Denny Hamlin's pit stop. And they go, see how Denny Hamlin waited these extra 3 seconds? Yeah, that's like 6 extra laps of fuel. And I was like, that is such a crazy helpful number. I mean, obviously it's different track by track because they're different like lengths and shit like that. But that was like, oh, okay, yeah, 6 laps is a lot. 6 laps is really important. I would have probably stayed for the 3 seconds. And they basically tell him over the radio, they're like, hey, just so you know, you're fucked. You're really fucked. You're super fucked. You're not going to win this race. You're short. I guess they said originally that he was going to be, I heard this on the teardown, he was going to be 9 laps short on fuel. But then they were like, just keep saving as much as you can. And then like, make it work. And this is, guess what we got? A fucking burn bar graphic. Right on the screen. Yeah. Money.
Hell yeah.
And he was doing a pretty good job of saving fuel. He had Denny behind him. And Denny was kind of told, like, don't worry about it. Chase is going to run out of fuel. So, like, just do your own thing because he's not going to be an issue soon. And then all of a sudden, Chase gets told with about 20 laps to go, yeah, you might actually be fine. Like, keep saving fuel. And if you do it like this, we could actually maybe be fine. And then Denny's then, of course, told that over his radio. And he then puts the pressure on Chase to try to, like, get him to run out faster. But this is like, okay, this is like where we're getting into, like, NASCAR old head shit. They're like, I wish dirty air wasn't such an issue at this track. Because Denny and Ryan Blaney, who's in third, couldn't really make any passes anyways. Because of dirty air.
And they both should have been able to.
Yeah, they definitely like
fine on
had
fuel.
The speed. Yeah, and we're fine on fuel. And so Denny is like still kind of being told like he's gonna run out with like a lap and a half left. So there was like a little part of me where I'm like, Denny, it needs to win this for basically just like the reputation of laps down is on the line. Because, like, first of all, we already said that, like, Alex Palou wasn't going to win the Indy 500. And that was, like, we got fucking dragged through the fucking mud for that one. And I was like, we literally just posted a TikTok, like, 7 days ago that was, like, Chase Briscoe is on fraud watch, I believe were our exact words. So I was like, I'm really hoping that he runs out of fuel here. And it would be for a driver error. So then I'd be like, see? Fraud watch. Could have won the race, but he made a driver error and he didn't. That didn't happen. And he ended up winning. So yeah.
Well, there is a reason we said fraud watch instead of fraud warning. You know, like tornado watch versus tornado warning. Like, you could be a fraud, keep an eye out, watch the space, but not like there's actively a fraud, go to your basement. So,
I will say though, like, Chase kind of backed us up after his win. A little bit. Because he was like, I was kind of shaking in my boots, shitting my pants, because if I don't win a race in this car, then I don't even deserve to be in NASCAR. And it was getting to the point where I didn't think I was going to win a race. And he was like, apparently telling his wife, like, if I can just win a race, like, all my problems go away. But, like, he was on fraud. He admitted basically that he was on fraud watch and he had to win this race. Because Joe Gibbs was looking at him and he was like, listen, I had these 2 girls on the internet who said, you're on fraud watch, buddy. And so, like, you better fucking step it up. And to the people that are, like, trying to come at me now in the comments on TikTok, like, actually, you're welcome. If you're a Chase Briscoe fan, like, we fucking put him on watch and then he delivered. Like, anybody, I'm putting, fine, I'll say it, Carson Hocevar, you're on fraud watch next.
Nobody look at him.
Daniel Suarez, we're going to Atlanta next week. You're on hella fraud watch.
Fraud watch.
And drop in the comments who you guys want to put on fraud watch. They might win a race. All of 2311, literally, actually, real talk. Like, I'm gonna, like, cut the shit. You guys are actually all on fraud watch, like, deeply and severely. So, I don't know. But Chase Briscoe won, and he's in the playoffs. And
ooh, sorry.
That means Ty Gibbs is the only JGR race car without a win this season. But he's fine.
Baby. I'll give him he's 22. Is this his second or third year? I'll give him one more year. One more year after this year has finished, and then once we start that year after that year, then I'll be like, okay, you gotta start winning.
I actually think that he is fine. And here's why. We have some road courses coming up. Yeah, he's been doing well, and he is, like, good at road courses. And now that, like, we are, like, okay, I think in Chicago, we could see, like, very easily SVG get taken out again by somebody else's dumbass mistake or something like that. Like, honestly, it's like SVG is not guaranteed to win a road course because, above all else, like, there's other idiots out there who will take SVG out on purpose or on accident. I don't know if anybody's got a target on Ty Gibbs' back, and I could see him pulling out a road course win.
Yeah, I can see
Watkins
that.
Glen, Chicago, he's fine. I actually am not even, like, I have confidence in Joe Gibbs that MJ has instilled in me that I am doubling down on.
Hell yeah. I think he'll do it. He's been so close. He's done well. He had kind of like a bummer of the beginning of the season, but like, bro, who didn't? Am I right, ladies?
Am I right, ladies? Who else was bummed out at the beginning of the season?
Who else was having their winter blues? So is Ty Gibbs? I don't know. He's done fine. I'm not worried about him. Chase Briscoe's the one who was putting it on pole every Saturday and then shitting the bed every Sunday.
So, okay, we're like kind of getting to the point where, like, the people that haven't won are, like, in the danger zone. And I'm, like, looking at them and being like, who do I think is, like, fine? I think Chase Elliott and Ty Gibbs, I have the most confidence in being fine.
Ryan Preece.
No, okay, hold on. Because I know for sure that Chase Elliott and Ty Gibbs can do well on a road course. And we have a lot of those left. Ryan Preece, I don't know what he's good. He just, like, is good. He is at, like, a little bit of everything. So I'm like, what will be his win?
He did well at the road course at Mexico.
Know. Like, I don't know. I agree.
He did
that
well
I think
at
Ryan
Talladega before he cheated. And he took away his points. Was that Talladega? Right. Yeah, it was Dega.
Yeah, I think he got second.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen in Iowa. It's gonna happen. Oh, did you hear that? That's God confirming that it's gonna happen.
Yeah, Ryan Preece is fine, guys. He's fine. Don't even worry about him.
Yeah, I think Ryan Preece, like, I think he, can I be honest? I don't know if he's gonna win, but I think he's gonna be like the person that gets in on points.
On points?
I think it's like him and Carson will get in on points. No, okay, here.
Prediction time. God, listen up. If you want a thunder, if my prediction is correct, I would love it. I think that Ryan Preece and Carson Hocevar will get into playoffs and then, like, win when it matters. And, like, get by in playoffs, like, much farther than they should because they'll, like, win at some random playoff race, like the Roval or some shit. And then it'll be like, how did they get up here? And it'll be like, they just won when it matters. They pull, like, a Joey Logano. But, like, in a much worse car than Joey Logano. Joey Logano was, like, in a Penske. So I don't know if it was, like, as impressive when he did it. But, like, it'll be really fun when Ryan Preece or Carson Hocevar does it. What do you think?
I was trying to look up and see. I don't understand how to tell who's in the
playoff bubble.
Because it's the top 16, right?
I think it's like, yeah, I think it's like the people that are on like they haven't won yet, but like they're like near being okay on points are like Ryan Preece, Carson Hocevar.
Well, Ryan Preece is in, Austin Cindric is in, Josh Berry is in, according to what I'm looking at. AJ Allmendinger is just outside Eric Jones, Kyle Busch, Carson Hocevar, Michael McDowell, John Hunter Nemechek, Ty Gibbs, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Zane Smith, Austin Dillon, Daniel Suarez, Todd Gilliland.
Where's Bowman?
Cody Ware.
I don't know.
I don't
really care. Anyways.
He's in. He's 13. Okay. Allegedly. This is... I don't know if I'm looking at the right thing. I'm just looking at what they have on the NASCAR website.
Yeah, it changes lap by lap. Like, they literally put it up, like, during the race sometimes, and I'm like, it's not helpful.
It's none of my business. Put this away. Put the burn bar back on.
Yeah. I think that's fun when it's, like, a cutoff race or something, but, like, when it's just, like, some random race, and they're like, here's how the playoffs would stand if we stop right now. And I'm like, okay, but, like...
Why would we do that?
We have, like, several more races to do, so, like, thanks for your help, I guess? I don't know. This is actually, like, I would love to hear in the comments what you guys think about, like, these people that haven't won yet and are, like, in the danger zone for playoffs. Like, who do you think has their win coming, and who do you think should actually be scared and needs to get their points together because that's how they're going to get into the playoffs? I would love to hear. Do you have any takes, MJ? I put myself out there. I was vulnerable and I shared my, thoughts.
I'm not sure I've given it too much thought. I don't know. Does that help? Okay. I think my brain has turned off playoffs because now I'm focused on this fucking bracket that we're doing where I'm like, I'll figure out playoffs after I do my NASCAR March Madness. It doesn't bother me right now.
I feel like
I just haven't thought about it.
I feel like Chase Elliott right now in that interview where he literally discovered what the in-season bracket was, like, in, like, real time. He was literally like...
Did you watch the teardown?
I didn't watch all of it. I was, like, halfway through.
They were talking about that where Jeff was kind of like, you have to know what's going on. Like, you have to know what's going on in your sport. And then Jordan was like, but it's not going to make a difference anyway. Like, it's not... Like, they're not going to race different because of this. And I'm just sitting here, I'm like, no, it's a gimmick. Like, this is a marketing promotional gimmick. You need to know what it is because you're trying to get fans involved. You don't have to do anything other than do your best every single weekend. Preferably, you would know when it's happening. That's all you need to know. And people will tell you the rest of it. But, like, just the fact that he was like, well, do we get anything? Oh, yeah, then I guess we want to win. Okay.
I knew that they were, like, doing the seeding for it. Like, the last couple races, they've been talking about how it, like, gets put into the... And I'm mad because SVG did not get in. And they were like,
listen to some of these
fucking whooped ass in this bracket.
Listen to some of these seedings because it's based on, like, how you finished in like the last couple races. So we've got Briscoe versus Gregson. That's going to be a 2 seed versus a 31 seed. Okay, that makes sense. And then we've got Ryan Preece, 15, and William Byron, 18. So if William Byron beats Ryan Preece, that's an upset. Huh?
Upset,
Okay.
upset alert, upset alert.
Upset. Everyone
The
start getting
Hendrick
crazy.
won.
Dude, it's like some of these are so silly. Wait, there was another one that was really good.
Denny's probably like a number 1 seed, right? Denny's like
Denny is number 1, and he's going up against our new favorite, Ty Dillon.
Oh, oh, Ty.
And then we've got Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski, the 16 and 17 seeds. That's gonna be juicy. And then this one I think is my favorite. They have pitted my besties against each other. We have Bubba Wallace in 9 and Suarez in 29 going up against each other.
I did see that, and I was like, there's no winning here. I have a question. So like, how can we fill out these brackets? Can we somehow like get people to submit their brackets to us and we can like do a little like competition?
I'll have to do some research because I haven't found anywhere that you could like fill them out outside of like the NASCAR, like entering their pool of whatever. Yeah. But I'll try to find something, and then, I'm going to make everyone fill it out. I actually put on threads today that I have officially paid the Etsy witch to make me very good at this NASCAR March Madness. So I will be kicking all of your guys' asses.
I would love to actually make it a competition. We'll figure, actually, if you don't already, follow us on @LapsDownPod on probably Instagram would be the best place for us to do this. And we'll communicate if we find some way for us to do this, because I would love to participate in a real way and see who in our audience would win in this, because it is like very nonsensical. I just would love to like live in a world where like
purely vibes.
Yeah, like next thing you know, it's like Daniel Suarez is like winning the bracket on accident somehow, because it's just like the matches are like that weird.
They're so messed up. They're whatever.
But SVG, I'm correct in saying, is not even on the bracket because he didn't seed well enough. So like I remember they were talking about this on the teardown about how he like if he could get in, which at that point I think they'd already been like he didn't get in the seeding. He would have fucking whooped ass at this bracket, because it's like half of the fucking races that TNT is airing are like road courses and like super speedways. So it's like, who the fuck knows? Like, it's like either SVG wins or some rando wins, because it's like, there's going to be a big one and some random person's just going to win.
Oh, I don't know. I'm kind of excited for it. It's something silly that we get to like play along with. I love when they let the crowd participate.
I agree. Yeah, we'll find a way, or like, you know, if we can't find a way, we'll also communicate to you guys and just be like, we tried, there's no way. But there's definitely like, they want us to do this fucking bracket. So we'll figure it out. And then last thing that I wanted to say about NASCAR, and we talked about it a little bit last week, but we've officially now said goodbye to the Prime broadcast. And it is interesting. I've listened to so many NASCAR fans now, like, you know, on podcasts or on social media, be genuinely like, this is like depressing. Like, everybody was having so much fun with the Prime broadcast. I will say, like, I do think I live in an echo chamber because I only listen to other like young people that watch NASCAR. And I'm curious on your take. Like, could you ever do a full season of NASCAR on a streaming service?
Yeah.
Do you think it would have like an effect on the audience size of NASCAR? Because it's like, part of me is like, like, those people are going to watch anyways. Even though they say they are going to be mad about it, they're going to watch anyways.
I think it's one of those situations where if you go, like, for 5 races, they'll bitch about it and be like, I'm not going to watch. But if we're like, okay, you don't get to watch the whole season then. Like, you don't get any of it if you don't have Amazon Prime. I think more people will convert to Amazon Prime. But Amazon Prime is getting such good numbers anyways. It's like, if we do have to cut out that generation, okay, like, I'm going to
be honest.
It's not going to hurt as much as they would like it to hurt.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about like getting young people in the sport, I think that the quality of product that we are getting from Amazon Prime on these NASCAR broadcasts are as good as what I pay $90 a year for on F1 TV. It is that good. Like the commentators are great, the graphics are great. They do a pre-show, a post-show, all of the qualifying, all of the practices are right there. I don't have to fucking search around. I would love if it also included Xfinity. As much as I don't mind the CW, it'd be great if we could throw Xfinity into that package. And I'm curious. The reason why I asked though is because I remember us having a conversation about F1 and how they weren't going to get new fans if they relied on just Apple TV or Netflix or something, and that like them losing their ESPN package was going to be to a detriment. I think that NASCAR doesn't have that because they're never on the same fucking channel. So like, you know, people might accidentally watch ESPN and discover F1, and then maybe you've made a fan. And the likeliness that that fan would buy F1 TV for $89 a year is slim. However, Amazon Prime, most people have Amazon Prime already. If you're bitching about not having Amazon Prime, you are so far in the minority. And I do think that you could get new fans on such an accessible streaming platform. If you're expecting all these new fans to get Apple TV or Netflix, it's a bigger ask. But if you are saying, hey, you've never watched NASCAR before, it's on Amazon Prime, they probably have that.
Most people have Amazon Prime. It's cheaper than, I think it's cheaper than Netflix and Apple TV. You can share it with multiple people. It's not like Netflix where it's like you can only do it within your household. But I also, another component to just like putting this all on Prime is Amazon Prime is doing a really good job of marketing NASCAR on social media, which you don't see from NASCAR on Fox. I didn't even know NASCAR went to TNT.
I literally have to discover where I'm supposed to watch TNT. I don't even know if I have it.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I don't know.
This may be our last NASCAR episode.
No. I'll steal my parents' cable login. I guess it's like, I think Amazon Prime, I think they're making a case for themselves. Like, you're right. The marketing has been great.
It's been so good. And having only... I don't know, like everyone is happy about it. Truly, everyone is happy about it. These races, even if they aren't that good of a race, like I would say Pocono probably wasn't that great of a race, but the broadcast team... I was on the edge
of my seat.
They do a really good job. They have these reoccurring bits. It's truly like college game day, but for NASCAR, which is something we've been talking about for forever. Is like, how do we get a college game day for motorsports? And they've done it.
They are doing it.
I would love to see a full season. Truly would love to. I would love to see how they do, like the Daytona 500, Talladega, the Roval, the important ones. The big
they did a great job too with like the Coke 600 being their opening race. Like I think that's kind of crazy that like their opener was the Coke 600, and it's like, are they gonna like be okay? Like, is this commentator team gonna work out? Are they gonna have good graphics? And then we all turned it on our TV for the Coke 600 and we're blown away. And I mean, I love IndyCar. I'm like, can we reverse the IndyCar on Fox thing? Could they go on Prime? Like, I love, like, I trust Prime. Like, Prime cares about NASCAR. They clearly are making a case for themselves. And everybody finally, for once, was shut the fuck up about complaining about the broadcast. Half of being a NASCAR fan was complaining about the broadcast, people. And now, like, we just don't do that anymore. For the last 5 races, we've had a great time.
We've had it. I think the reason that we're complaining so much about Carson Hocevar and
it's because they had nothing else to do.
It's because we're not complaining about the broadcast. It's like, oh no, I gotta put all my negativity into something.
Yeah. And you're right. I don't think Pocono is like really that interesting. I would love to see. I wish I would have done this. And I just got this idea. Like Jeff Gluck's good race polls. I think the numbers have been like literally juiced because of Prime. Like it's like
he said that. He said that all of these races are much better than last year, and he's like, I think it's because of the Prime broadcast. He's like, I think Pocono, I'm taking into consideration because they always guess what they think the good race percentage is going to be, and he's like, I'm taking into consideration that race was what it was, but it was on the Prime broadcast, so I'm going to guess a little bit higher.
I mean, it was literally a fuel saving race for the last like 40 laps. But I was on the edge of my seat because I genuinely was like listening to the commentary team try to like do the fuel math like live on air.
Yeah.
And then like they're like trying to call the bluffs on people's radios. They're like playing Denny's radio against chases where like one person's being told he's fine on fuel, the other one's told he's going to run out. I was on the edge of my seat because I was like, dude, any lap here, Chase is just going to eat it. And then Denny's going to get the lead. That is like, that's a great broadcast. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited because I think that like, thank God Prime did a good job, because I would love next year or the year after to be able to just fucking watch all of NASCAR in one place, and I want it to be Prime.
One place. Please. That's all I want, is to be able to watch NASCAR in one place.
Like, at least IndyCar, even if you fucking hate on Fox, I know where it's going to be every weekend. I know where F1 is every weekend. Literally I have to Google it every couple weeks for NASCAR.
There is no other sport that does that.
Well,
name one other sport
they all do it now. Football and all that shit. They all like have a bajillion streams. I don't think it's a good idea though. I think that it's like football.
To have multiple channels?
Yeah. Like if you want to watch
that's
like the
between
whole football
three
season.
three different broadcasts, right? It's not like for these 5 games you're going to be on this, for these 5 games you're going to be on this.
They purposely take the big games and spread them across a bunch of different streaming services for football. So they were like, everybody's going to watch this matchup. This one's going to be on HBO Max. This one's going to be on Amazon Prime. And this one's going to be on YouTube TV or something.
Yeah, they do that for hockey too. But it's not like this part of the season you're going to watch every weekend on this. This part of the season you're going to watch. It's like, okay, well, this is the big game, so we're putting it on TNT. And then I have to go, TNT!
No, I literally
like
had to Google. I literally have to Google every couple weeks how to watch TNT streaming.
Yeah, where to get NASCAR.
I don't know. I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments. I know you like Prime. Everybody likes Prime, but like, do you guys think? Because I think I'm just not in touch with like the true numbers of how much of the NASCAR audience is like old fucks who wouldn't make the switch.
Because I feel like a lot of the older generation was like, yeah, I'm just going to watch NASCAR on a streaming service because that's what we do every 5 weeks is we watch NASCAR somewhere else. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I think it was just a loud minority who were like, first it's podiums, then it's electric vehicles, and now we're on streaming services.
Yeah. And then it's on streaming service. And then next thing you know, they're going to have Jeff Bezos personally come into my home and tell me I have to trade in my car for an electric vehicle. And that's actually a part of the big woke plan.
That is so scary, because I love the smell of gasoline, and I like the sound my car makes when it drinks gasoline. I don't think I could do an electric vehicle.
Oh my god. All right, well, we officially hit the 2-hour mark, so I think we've lost it.
No. It's your fan favorite.
I know. I just realized that as I said it.
I've got mine.
Oh, go.
There's something being cooked up in the NASCAR social media marketing sphere right now, and nobody's talking about it, and so this is my chance. I'm going to volunteer my NASCAR fan favorite this week to be able to have a platform to talk about this. Mm-hmm. Ross Chastain is cheating on watermelon with Apple, and they're making this like a whole bit. Like, at first it was just like funny. There was like an apple and a watermelon in front of him, and he grabs the apple. Okay, whatever. The most recent installment, he's like walking up to his car with an apple in his hand, and he gets a phone call, and it's from Watermelon. And he looks at it, and he kind of like, you can see that, he's processing his emotions. And then he sends it to voicemail and takes a bite out of the apple, which suggests to me that the apple is... shouldn't. He's like being... I mean, this is an act of infidelity, in my opinion. Yeah. That's what they're selling to me. And I think I'm amused by it, and I'm going to keep tuning in just to see how far that they can push Ross to keep doing this. The fact that he agreed to do this at all is very funny to me when they pitched it to him. But so he gets my fan favorite of the week for that.
That's great. I love that.
Who'd you got?
I was trying to think of it while you were talking. I just couldn't think because I was just so like wrapped up with this Apple thing.
It's a big thing.
Who have I texted you about this week? Or like DM'd you about?
We talked about Ryan Blaney for a minute.
Yeah, I don't think it was... When are we?
Carl Edwards. Who else
I'm
are we
mad
talking
that
about?
I can't have Connor Zilic as mine because honestly, he really stole the show for me when he came out of the roof of his car.
No, that's a big
That
one.
was
But
really
he's
good.
Xfinity.
I know.
What else do we talk
It's
about?
genuinely unfair. Fuck. I hate this. I hate this pressure. I'm gonna have to pause and cut all of this. It's just like
No, you're not.
fucked.
You've got this. I believe in you.
No,
Who else
it's
did
just
we
like
talk
everything
about?
is ruined. It's just like everything is ruined.
We didn't really, to be fair, because it was an IndyCar week, I don't think we talked a lot about NASCAR drivers
No.
the way that we
Okay,
typically
I guess
would.
it just has to be Ryan Blaney then. I was a bit amused by him on the broadcast for Xfinity. I think that he is of the better drivers when it comes to being on the broadcasts.
Yeah, he
I
does a
will
good
say
job.
he kept doing this thing on the broadcast, and I don't think he realized how many times he did it. And I worry that I do the same thing on the podcast. He would just say the same joke over and over again, but it's you already said that joke, and I think that's funny. He kept whenever somebody would get to pass somebody else who would make a mistake, he'd go, and they're probably thinking, "Thank you very much." He used that joke 4 times.
Was
and
it
I was
a bit?
No, I think it's just that's what he would be thinking in that moment. But it's he's clearly thinking this all the time.
Oh, I love that.
Whenever he's passing people, he's just going, "Thank you very much," whenever they fuck up and he gets to pass them. So he'd be like, "Oh, look at these two battling." And oh, who's going to sneak around? Oh, they're probably thinking, "Thank you very much." But he said it 4 or 5 times to the point where I noticed it. And I was like, "Brian, you got to stop saying that."
I mean, he's right. Let him know.
That's probably what they are thinking, though. They probably are thinking, "Thank you very much."
Oh, dude.
I don't know. I think he just dazzles people with his blue eyes and his beard, and for that, that's enough to get a fan favorite vote around here.
All right, I'll allow it.
If you dazzle me enough, you know what I mean. I think it's okay to be dazzled sometimes.
We should
And
allow
I felt
ourselves
bad.
to
I
be
felt bad
dazzled.
for him because his cool suit broke, and then he plugged it back
yeah.
in. What did
And
he
then it
say?
still didn't work. Because he was like, there's an issue with my cool suit. And they're like, okay, copy. And then he's like, oh, well, it was unplugged. So I'll just plug it back in and see if that fixes it. It clearly didn't. It clearly didn't. Because he was apparently he had dropped to his knees multiple times after the race. And was sitting, leaning up against the car. And only stood up long enough to get an interview and then needed to be wheeled off or he got picked up on a go-kart by the AMR safety team. But this is just me as someone who gets overheated and I know what it's like to pass out. The people around you do have to do something. There was just a group of men standing around him. No one was like, "Hey, you should unzip your fire suit."
Still have
No
the
one
fire suit on. I'm like, that's
Dude,
supposed to
I'm
retain heat.
if you're actively passing out, you have to take it off. I don't care what you're wearing underneath it. No one was handing him something to
Ryan, you have to take it off. You have to
take it
For
off,
safety,
Ryan.
you have
I don't
to.
care. It's hot. But no one was handing him they were holding cold water bottles, and I was like, you have to hand it to him, so he puts it on the back of his neck. No one was giving him any help at all. It's just these men who were doing the thing where they're you know how men will sometimes analyze a project and they'll be like, yeah, no, I see definitely
where I
gonna
would
need
start.
to do something there. Yeah, no, if this were a project I were gonna undertake, and I'm like, nobody's fucking helping him. Nobody's fanning him off. Nobody's giving him a towel. I was like, you guys, his life is in your hands right now. The AMR safety team can't be everywhere. We as civilians have to do work for them. We have to work with the AMR safety team. We can't be working against them. You know?
If you see something, say something. Right? That applies to this? Or is that terrorism?
If you see a hot Ryan Blaney, have him
Tell
unzip
him to
his
take his
fire
clothes
suit.
off. Tell him to take his clothes off. See if it
I'm
helps.
sorry. I'm sorry, Ryan Blaney.
Sorry,
I'm
we're not objectifying you. We're just dazzled.
No. It's just funny.
Real quick, as if we haven't been. We're only at 2 hours and 13 minutes. We could make it a cool 2:30.
We keep Midwest goodbyeing this.
No, I know.
And one more thing.
If you stopped after the first goodbye, you're missing half the podcast generally. Watkins Glen also happened, and they had every season that could possibly happen in this 6-hour race. But I saw a video of, we had eyes on Roman Grosjean, and he was just simply passing away at Watkins Glen. I was like, guys, be careful. That's Prema's reserve driver. He's not looking too good.
What is a reserve driver? We could have used you.
He's not even there. Oh my god.
Bad reserve driver.
We did watch a little bit of IMSA, but it unfortunately was kind of like an on and off sort of situation. So I don't think either of us are like clocked in to speak on
All I know is the driver I wanted to win won.
Meyer-Shank. The Meyer-Shank team.
Meyer-Shank Racing. That's all I got.
We have been watching a little bit of IMSA. I know we have some IMSA fans. Okay. Do we want to wrap it up now? Bye.
Bye.
Everyone. Bye.
Bye.